I would rather be hated for who I truly am than loved for a fake persona. Ha ha, I would rather be despised for my true nature than loved for pretending to be someone else. Here lies a story. A dull fairy tale, the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time there is a stepmother and her daughter, who are endlessly jealous of their beautiful, kind-hearted younger sister. When Cinderella's father passes away, those two cruel women reveal their true nature and begin to torment her without mercy. Yet the rules of every fairy tale are preordained. The wicked ultimately fall, and the good overcome every hardship with nobility. And so, Cinderella and her prince on a white horse live happily ever after, while the stepmother and her daughter meet a tragic end. But not a single person ever tries to understand why. The stepmother and her daughter hate Cinderella so much. Isn't that right, Luona? Luona asks in a panic. What are you talking about? Get down from there right now. Come down here and then we can talk properly. The girl hears this and sneers. People say you and I are complete opposites, a cruel relationship inherently incapable of harmony, two souls who from the very start should never have met, yet damned fate binds us together anyway. Count Bizabeau has a 16-year-old daughter, while that flawed commoner woman has a 17-year-old daughter. One might call it love transcending class boundaries, but from the start, this union is never smooth. Yet, in that seemingly beautiful story, the commoner's 17-year-old daughter is an existence that should never have been. Everyone feels utter disgust for the new young lady, because the Count's family already has Luona, young lady beloved by all. They say that upon seeing her hair gleam like gold and her eyes clear as the sky, one cannot help but fall in love with her. As she braids Luona's hair, she reminds her, there is still a bit left, bow your head. Luona obediently answers, yes. She continues braiding her hair, thinking with annoyance, I don't understand what makes this naive fool so highly praised. I'm truly sick of children raised in sheltered warmth. She utterly revolts me. The servants whisper about her. Do you see her? She acts just like a servant, if she knows her place now and bows down to beg. Perhaps when she is driven out, she will still leave with a few silver coins. And whenever anxiety strikes due to the servants' whispers, I remember the vow I whispered to myself the night before moving to the Count's manor. My child, enjoy everything you have to the fullest. But deep in your heart, always remember that it can all end at any moment. And always be grateful. Why? Because when you are too happy, the gods grow jealous. Yet in the end, I grow arrogant. Because now I can watch my mother choose dresses before the mirror instead of rushing to work every early morning. Mademoiselle Beans, because I am happy. That my name now carries a prestigious family title. But it seems that very happiness is something others cannot bear. Especially the clan. They tremble in fear that the infatuated Count will hand everything over to his new wife and her daughter. They guard against me, a person with no blood relation, fearing I will exploit my stepfather's affection to usurp the position of the legitimate heir, Luona. So they set traps and isolate me from society. They spread and abet vicious rumors that tarnish my reputation, constantly emphasizing that I am nothing more than a useless doll, endlessly comparing me to Luona. That ugly duckling, consumed by an inferiority complex, gives up on growing up and hides herself away in a box. Like a blindfolded bird pecking blindly at seeds, I feast on luxurious desserts, buy dresses, and wear jewelry. By then, the family no longer needs to bother, for plenty outside stand ready to tear that fattened bird to pieces. Look at her, how dare she wear such an appearance to the banquet? How utterly vulgar. Sigh, how can she fall so far short of the true Lady Bizabeau? One really cannot underestimate noble blood. But there is one thing they fail to realize. The exquisite luster of this pearl necklace suits Lady Luona perfectly. No matter how despondent or insecure I become, I am not the type to curl up and weep. That resentment-filled stepsister hates her sister so much she wants to steal everything from her. After my stepfather dies in a storm, I use my mother's name to seize control of the countship. Then I lock Luona in a coal-dusted room and begin to torment her. I enact every single crime people claimed Luona suffered at my hands, as if without doing so I cannot endure. I become terribly cruel. But does any fairy tale ever abandon its protagonist? In the dark of night, someone helps Luona escape. We will be in huge trouble if we are caught leaving. SHH this way, young lady, why have you grown so thin? Lady Luona. Nanny, did you come to save me? Sob asterisk, everyone is doing all this for you. Worry no more, we will aid you, young lady. Just as everyone expects, Luona shines brightly once again. appearing at the royal banquet and capturing the crown prince's gaze. Eventually, she is named Crown Princess. As for the villainess's fate, it ends precisely like a fairy tale. That is no woman. She is a venomous viper dripping with filth. If I do not sever her head, she will rise again at any moment and sink her fangs into our ankles. Yet because my beloved Luona pleaded, I shall spare your life. Please loosen sister's bindings a little. That is what Luona said. Z, this is a new chance, an opportunity to start everything over from the beginning. Or at least, that is what she says. Disgusting. After she bestows her cheap pity with that angelic face, as always, the audience praises her benevolence. The crown princess is so benevolent, her heart is as beautiful as her face. She is truly a rare, kind soul. Oh, to shed tears even for the villainess. And while I plunge into an even deeper abyss, how dare you torment the crown princess? Ripping out every nail of that demoness wouldn't be enough to satisfy my wrath. Besides, once thrown out of the palace, she is nothing more than a ragged beggar. Who cares about her fate now? Right. By the way, if we gouge her eyes out and slash her face, forcing her to beg for death, you won't be held accountable for anything in the end anyway. I have indeed become the ungrateful witch you all accused me of being. Your act of playing the saint is utterly laughable. Ah, Luona, my sweet sister Luona, let me ask you just one thing. Come. Here, Z speaks up. Did you truly know nothing at all? She foolishly asks back. What are you talking about? Z says, every time people set me beside you for comparison, I am dragged down to the rock bottom of humiliation. She thinks to herself, why is it that when the entire Count's household acts as one, Luona, the central figure, is the only one completely? Unaware, do you truly not know? You looked at me with eyes that seemed to say, how can you fail at something so simple? Thinking. This, she asks again, answer me, you knew. About it, didn't you? Only then does Luona respond truthfully, yes, I knew, but... You are a little unusual, Z. Everyone else does it without complaining. As for the things I do so naturally, it is hard for me to understand why you cannot do them. So you did know everything. I wasn't wrong. As she speaks, Luona suddenly screams, it is all in the past, we can. Start over if you just step down. From there, Z interrupts her. Luona, I truly abhor you. Z steps 1 foot over the railing. She whispers inwardly, endure it. Think of me as long as you live, if I can plant the fatal flaw of my existence into your brilliant fairy tale. Life, that alone, is delightful enough, so I will take your blood-curdling scream as my companion. As I plummet beneath the balcony where death shines so brightly, becoming a falling bird just like that. That is how the story should end. It ought to be that way. Is this a joke of the gods? Why is a younger Luona standing right before my eyes compared to my final memory? Pleased to meet you. I am Luona. We are family. Now aren't we? Z wonders to herself. Am I dreaming? What is certain is that I returned from death and am now forced to repeat this horrific reality. It is absolute boundless despair. The cold moonlight shines down. Even with my eyes closed, thoughts swirl wildly in the hazy twilight of dawn. When I can't tell if I am dreaming or awake, I ask myself endlessly, am I the only one experiencing this regression? Is this a blessing or a curse? What brought me back to this place? My body sinks amidst aimless questions. Incomprehensible sounds drift through my mind. Yes, I cannot remember nor understand that language. The only thing keeping me breathing is the golden light at the edge of my reach. I must shatter it to forge ahead with my malice. It is a dream I cannot comprehend. Yet strangely, I feel no need to ask further questions. Those sharp, witch-like nails and excruciating wounds serve as proof of reality. Just as Z's thoughts fade, suddenly someone casually opens the door and strides in. Without bothering to await her permission, the sudden intrusion startles her slightly. Her personal maid doesn't utter a word of greeting, charging straight toward the window to yank open all the curtains. Finished, she offhandedly turns her head and glares at her out of the corner of her eye. Z calmly observes her. She is Molly, assigned as her personal maid. Arrogant and vain, the Molly of the past was just like this. She acts like a prideful lady-in-waiting, never saying a single kind word to me. And when given orders, she always executes them grudgingly. I remember Molly once laughing heartily in front of me, spewing sarcastic words. I know that one day you will be kicked out anyway. You look so ridiculous expecting royal treatment when you live worse than any of us. The brown-haired maid hastily asks, and is the lavender thing the funniest of them all? The blonde maid, consumed by curiosity, urges, don't just laugh by yourself. What is it? Molly sneers mockingly. That lowborn creature asked what those floating bubbles in the wash basin were. I told her they were lavender oil bubbles great for the skin. She didn't even realize it was my spit and used it anyway, thinking it was wonderful. In the beginning, I was constantly compared to Luona because of Molly's improper conduct. Though she was the maid assigned to assist me until I learned noble etiquette, Molly quickly abandoned me. Back then, I didn't even recognize the injustice of it all. Living a surprisingly idle life, how could I know what treatment real nobles received? Thus, there was no way for me to realize the arrogant attitude and utter neglect the maids showed me. But now I see their true intentions clearly. Finishing her thoughts, Z speaks up. You don't look very well. Molly asks in surprise. No, nothing is wrong with me. Your neck looks rather uncomfortable. She hastily denies. No, it's fine. Suddenly realizing something, Z suggests, is that so? Come here. Grudgingly taking a step forward, she sighs and complains. Why are you doing? Before she can finish her sentence, Z grabs her and asks in a low growl, I thought the reason you failed to greet me was because your neck hurt. Molly screams in pain, young lady, it hurts. Please let go of me. Remember this. Molly, I do not like you opening the windows without my permission. Molly responds in terror, I will be careful, young lady. Z continues her warning, from now on, greet me properly. Yes, she replies instantly. Releasing her grip on her head, Z issues an order. Now, bring me water to wash my face. Moments later, bringing the basin of face-washing water to Z, Molly whispers softly, Young lady, here is the water. She does not reply, merely smirking softly, thinking to herself, although face water should be prepared beforehand. By default, warm water ought to be kept in a deep, wide basin mixed with rose water or herbal essences. It is in a small bronze basin, free from scratches or visible blemishes. Lavender petals are scattered over it as a token of generosity, but they likely mixed in peppermint like before, causing skin inflammation. Furthermore, introducing cold air causes illness, and even cold water is despised by nobility. It is no longer surprising. Molly, next are the bubbles. Right, dumping out the wash basin, she glares sharply and orders, bring it. Again, perhaps this time you will have to bring it again. Trembling while wrapping her arms around herself, Molly stammers, young lady, this is the 4th time already. If you are unsatisfied with something, please just say so. Why are you doing this to me? Shouldn't you know that far better than I? In the past, besides bringing filthy wash water, Molly spent all her energy for the slightest wrongdoings. Among so many dresses and accessories, my foster father buys me almost the entire shop. She shoves only the most baffling pieces into my wardrobe. And what does she say? You only need to choose, young lady. Then, together with the other maids, she crams nonsense into my head. Among the designs worn by the young lady of Duke de Vinel, this outfit. I heard this necklace ornament is a limited edition item from the Musi store. In particular, my memory of this day in my past life remains vivid. At that important breakfast gathering, my first since becoming a member of the Count's family, she guides me into bizarre combinations and dresses me that way. When I appear looking like a clown, my foster father asks if I chose it myself, then falls silent. And my mother bows her head as if in shame, while the leader among them, Luona, looks deeply concerned as she asks me if dressing myself is too difficult. It begins from the very first day. The servants in the manor openly start to compare Luona and me, calling me a foolish young lady who does not even know how to dress properly. Molly exclaims in response, Oh dear, because of this you will be late for breakfast. Z asks directly, then who should I hold responsible for this? And what do you think the Count will say when he learns about this situation? So prepare yourself well, this is the last chance I am giving you, understood? Hearing her words, Molly stands frozen, staring at her for a moment and then suddenly lowers her head to ponder something, before hurriedly standing up to prepare a fresh basin of washing water for her. With all due respect, I will bring fresh wash water, young lady. Seeing her begin to cower and bow before her brings her immense satisfaction as she thinks to herself, yes, everything I craved in my past life, but never obtained, has finally begun. A moment later, several servants whisper amongst themselves. The Count, even though he is on his own, has cared for the young lady more devotedly than anyone, but even when he remarries, why choose a woman who looks just like her? And they say that daughter is already 17 years old. If I can flatter that young lady properly, I can get promoted, right? Young lady, don't make me laugh. I heard she reeks of country bumpkin. Having to bow to people who are just happy not to starve is so unfair it makes me want to die. Do not utter unjust words or keep lies on your tongue. Hold fast to righteousness and do not let go. Then your life will not be condemned. It is so unfair. Someone becomes a young lady overnight. It is so shameful to have to swear a noble knightly oath to an ordinary girl. Let's bet how many times that country bumpkin causes trouble starting this morning. She probably cannot even balance on high heels. She will stumble around. I am looking forward to seeing what state she will be in. For someone who walks, even though it never truly fits, the sudden sound of high heels echoes and approaches this way, making the butler deeply curious as he quickly turns to look. Upon seeing him, Z greets him politely. "Good morning, butler." He does not answer immediately, feeling a touch of emotion as he thinks, though age dims my hearing. A single click of a heel softly tells these old senses. These footsteps belong to one who returns to where they truly belong. He then hurriedly speaks. "Welcome home, young lady." As the gossiping servants fix their eyes on Z, they murmur, "They clearly said she was a hot-tempered, coarse country bumpkin. Yet is this elegant woman before us truly the new young lady?" Bowing softly, Z greets gently. "Good morning, mother." "It is only early morning. How can you be so beautiful? My sweet little skylark, did you sleep well?" As Z steps toward the dining table, she thinks to herself, "My mother, who loves me with all her heart, and my foster father, Count Bizabeau." In the past, I dreaded my foster father's cold, tightly pressed lips, and his imposing, towering stature made me tremble. I could not even greet him properly, only hiding awkwardly behind mother, let alone his frown over my clumsy outfit. I failed to realize he was simply nervous meeting his adoptive daughter for the first time. Unable to bear the awkward atmosphere, my foster father forced a smile and asked, "Did you sleep?" Never expecting that before he finished, I let out a foolish scream. Z slowly steps toward Count Bizabeau. She gracefully greets, "Good morning, father," then gently places a kiss upon his cheek. She thinks to herself, in the past, Luona was always beloved for her sweet voice and charming manners. There is no reason I cannot be like that too, right? Being suddenly kissed on the cheek stuns the Count. A moment later, he breaks into a laugh and asks, "Did you sleep well? Were you comfortable?" She replies with a bright smile, "Nothing bothered me at all. I slept very well." Then her eyes happen to meet Luona's. Luona looks at her as if startled by something, but quickly regains her gentle composure, smiling faintly as she introduces herself. "It is Luona, sister." Z smiles faintly and says, "Sister sounds so stiff, just call me Z." She adds inwardly, "Simply because I have no intention of becoming sisters with you." Luona listens with a hint of worry and asks, "Z, how could I address you directly by name?" "It is all right. I do not want us to speak so formally and distantly. Besides, we are only 1 year apart." Hearing this, she quickly concedes, "All right then, I will call you that, not sister, but Z." Z thinks with satisfaction, remember this. Luona, everything truly begins now. Shortly after, breakfast is neatly arranged on the table. A warm scent wafts gently throughout the room. Seeing this, Z quickly picks up her knife and fork, leisurely enjoying her breakfast. Her calm demeanor suggests everything is firmly within her grasp. Sitting opposite her, the Count cannot help but be astonished, thinking, even the lady of the house still fumbles when choosing the proper knife and fork for each dish. Yet she follows table etiquette flawlessly without anyone teaching her. Curiously, he asks, "Where did you learn all that?" Z feigns innocence and replies, "I simply tried following what I read in books." "You can read?" "Yes, how embarrassing. Reading is my hobby." Z, when did you learn to read? "I am sorry for not telling mother sooner. I learned by observing others. I never expected you to be interested in studies. Why didn't you tell mother sooner?" She explains in a low voice, "Our family could not afford it. I thought if I greedily wanted to learn, it would only cause mother more suffering." Hearing this, the Count makes an assessment in his heart. For her age, this girl thinks so maturely. He then asks, curiously, "So, to what extent can you read?" Her reply astonishes him. "I am not completely proficient, but I can read most books." He thinks to himself, the imperial language is difficult. Learning it alone without a tutor is nearly impossible. Could she be a genius? Z On her part reflects, of course I am no genius. I cannot even touch the letter G in genius. She smiles and answers, I learned to read in this house in my past life. Hearing this, he feels somewhat puzzled. Perhaps it is best to just let her be natural. That is truly remarkable. Would you like to receive proper lessons? Z answers without a moment's hesitation. Yes, I would love to learn more, Leona excitedly offers. Then what if I teach you myself? Sister, she pauses, contemplating. For a moment before declining, thank you, but there are already professional tutors. So you do not need to worry. Leona tries to convince her. I think you need more than just a little help. But haven't you never taught anyone before? Then can I learn while reteaching Z, father? Z thinks to herself. Leona, who is always praised as an angel for her kindness and generosity, gets flatly rejected without hesitation. My dear Leona, the answer is no. Surely this is the first time in her life she has had to face such a blunt rejection. Surprised by Z's refusal, Leona immediately shows confusion. The Z who was always hurt by her good intentions was the old me. She earnestly expresses, I really want to help you. Z, is it because you do not trust me? She gently closes her eyes and calmly explains, that is not it, Leona, it is simply to prevent bad things from happening. If we study together when our starting points are different, will our progress not be disrupted? Young lady Leona dances the minuet as naturally as breathing, while that other girl stumbles countless times. What a waste of time teaching basic steps to someone of that age. Whether we like it or not, we will eventually be divided into the capable and the weak when people see I cannot do as well as you. Young lady Z, are you all right? The horse is spooked. You will start getting flustered and think, is this really that difficult? After a brief moment of pity, you will quickly grow annoyed with me. Sister, stop it. Why are you brewing Darjeeling tea with rosemary? And do not slouch like that, your hand movements are wrong too. You do not need to be perfect, just a little more careful. Why don't you try harder? I am starting to get tired of you acting like this. People looking on will say that awkward, illegitimate daughter should never have been accepted. In the first place, because I could not fully accept Leona's kindness, I became an awkward thorn in this strange relationship. I did not have the courage to endure those gazes. Hearing these words, Z's mother panics. Goodness, who would dare say such things? The Count says sternly, do not imagine unnecessary things. Z immediately counters, this is not imagination. He quickly asks in confusion, why do you think that? She calmly explains, just look at the attitude of the servants who attend to me. Those who do not bother to greet me, and the cold, dirty wash water they bring, all of it speaks clearly that the people in this manner do not welcome me. Count Bizabeau asks again, did you really experience that? Z immediately affirms. Yes, I swear before God. Hearing this, he suddenly slams his fist onto the table and bellows in rage, Mage, where is head maid Mage? Covering her mouth, her mother gasps in pain, good heavens. Leona asks in disbelief, Z, are you all right? I do not think the servants would do such a thing. I cannot believe it. Z questions her, Leona, are you implying that I am lying? Sweating in fluster, she explains, no, that is not what I mean. Leona seems to want to protect head maid Mage. It is understandable since she was almost Leona's nanny and even assumed a motherly role after the late lady passed away. Leona pleaded back then, please do not blame Mage anymore, it is clearly the fault of the other maids. My dear husband, the Crown Prince lowers his voice to advise her. Even if Mage truly did not know, she must still bear managerial responsibility as the head maid, just by allowing ice-filled teacups to be served all this time. Leona hurriedly interrupts. Mage drank that very same tea with me several times. Mage is innocent, she only always devotes herself to this family. She was my very first tutor, when I was not even 6 years old. Crying after every sentence, Mage would gently pat my head to comfort me. The Crown Prince feels helpless listening to her. I understand how much you cherish her, but handling Mage not rely solely on emotion. News is spread throughout the capital. The port reopened, yet the teapot could not be found. They say something was put inside the cup. It involves a blue coral reef. The woman who drank that tea lost her child, a baby boy only 18 weeks old. That loss is far too immense when 2 servants also died, leaving behind only a daughter wandering everywhere. Though she did not directly pour the tea as head maid, she should have known, yet they dare not sever her hands. Isn't that story laughable? The nobility and royal family are all watching this matter closely. People say in that household, cleaning the greenhouse is more important than firing a servant. Everyone knows that in that house, making no decision is a decision. In a case involving the death of a noble, mere negligence in supervision is considered a crime, subject to a severe sentence. Or execution, we can save Mage, but we cannot let the world think that we are shielding her. Seeing the Count's family even granted a greenhouse, I thought they were capable, but what use is the right to raise troops when the assassin is a servant? The nobility will cling to that weakness forever. In reality, they are a weak family lacking political decisiveness. Furthermore, Mage's family had their fief confiscated last year and their bloodlines. Viscount title is about to be lost as well. He then offers a suggestion. There is no longer anyone who can back her up. We must find a punishment severe enough to quiet public opinion. Every day someone needs to comb that hair. The Crown Prince suddenly muses that only Mage can be trusted with such a duty, a punishment humiliating enough so no one objects while still protecting Mage. I will demote her from head maid to mere maid, though her title drops, I will keep her by my side. Just as the late lady once trusted, those hands that stroked that golden hair were so warm, warm enough to feels like a spring dream. Yet the warm Mage with her golden hair is a nightmare for my mother and me. Turning back to this moment, as soon as she steps into the room, May coldly asks, "What is going on?" The Count scolds in rage. "Head maid, the servant you assigned insulted my daughter. How can such a thing happen right inside my own home? Insulted? This is the first time I hear of this. My master, the head butler Mage, that cunning fox, stood with Luona and ordered the maids to torment my mother and me to death. She mostly hires servants from the north and west. They hide behind local accents or indirect remarks, never hesitating to speak ill behind our backs. Just tell her all the umbrellas are broken. That commoner girl is too stupid to ask twice." Really? She even turns bullying into a game, using pawns like Molly. She calmly orders, "Sprinkle salt water under the tree." And through those sly methods, "Don't you see the roses are wilting? Explain immediately why it turned out like this. How do you intend to take responsibility?" She ruins so many important events hosted by the Marchioness. "Are you trimming the trees properly? Don't you think that is too careless? We do not need anyone in this house who lacks enthusiasm." By combining the authority of a lady-in-waiting and head butler, she shakes the order of the manor, ensuring my mother and I are never acknowledged by anyone. May indifferently asks back, "Insulted, you say? This is the first time I hear of this. My master, I hear a maid brought the young lady wash basin water in a dirty copper bowl, and cold water at that. Assigning such an incompetent servant to the Count's daughter, is that not an insult to me?" Seeing her remain silent and begin to sweat in anxiety, Z cannot help but feel secretly delighted. Mage probably never imagined she would be questioned about something like this. What does a woman of low birth know about what water a young lady should use to wash her face? She probably thinks as long as the servants keep quiet, no one will ever find out. Luona anxiously stands up to mediate. "Father, there must be some misunderstanding. Please listen to Mage's explanation. Everyone knows Mage has been an outstanding head butler for over 20 years. Z softly analyzes. "Surely everyone present here knows best how capable she is. Therefore, it is truly strange that a head servant like her does not bother to check the assignment of my maid." Hearing this, the Count laughs inwardly, thinking that Z makes a lot of sense. Luona replies in a raised voice, "How can a busy head butler inspect every single servant? Perhaps this is just an oversight." Hearing her say this, Z notices the Count sway a little. Considering Mage's reputation, this explanation is also reasonable. Seeing him say nothing more makes Z feel anxious. Unlike before when my adoptive father openly stood by my side, now he seems unwilling to hurt anyone. Most importantly, ever since Luona began taking sides, the situation has shifted completely and becomes extremely disadvantageous for me. She then lowers her voice and concedes, "Yes, Luona, thinking back, perhaps I am a bit too sensitive. Maybe she is simply too busy to check thoroughly. After all, everything has its priorities. But even so, it is truly saddening. I waited for the day to meet my family and the servants I would live with. Yet it seems the head butler does not consider my servant to be anyone important at all." Z's mother can no longer suppress her emotions and suddenly bursts into tears. "Oh my goodness, poor child, you must be so hurt. Of course your matter is very important, my dear." She hurriedly reassures her. "Do not cry, mother, I am truly fine." It is all my fault. I never wanted to cause you two such heartbreak. Do not let any tears fall upon that beautiful face. My heart feels like it is breaking. Please forgive me. Z chokes up with self-reproach. Ah, I should not have brought this up. It all started only because Luona said she wanted to help. Me, no, keep talking, not just that. I swear in this Bizabo house no one dares look down on you, not even my daughter. Luona, do you understand? Hearing this, May turns pale immediately, her eyes filled with panic. Z sees this sight, feeling both thrilled and satisfied in her heart. Her adoptive father's goodwill serves as both a warning and a clear sign of where his affection lies. In other words, everything unfolds capably as Mage fears. Luona asks curiously, Z, then what about the misunderstanding with Mage? Luona, I respect your opinion, so do not worry too much about the head butler. Thank heavens, I finally clear up the misunderstanding. Looking at that smile, Luona seems not to realize the severity of her adoptive father's words, though perhaps no one realizes it either. They probably think, poor Lady Luona feeling guilty again over something that is not her fault. They will believe just that, but the Luona I know is merely desperately seeking an excuse for defending Mage. Stripping away that outer layer, there is certainly not a shred of guilt left on her face. Even so, I cannot miss the opportunity Luona opens up for me. Having thought this through, Z suddenly proposes. Then Luona, instead of tutoring me, why don't you help me in another way? Luona asks curiously. Help how? Anything. Z, just say it. She asks back dubiously. Really? She immediately confirms, really. Hearing this, she demands bluntly, please, give me one of your servants. Her eyes widen in shock as she asks back, what? Z calmly explains, if you let one of your maids come help me, it will lessen the burden on the head butler, right? One of your current maids would be perfect. What do you think? Luona always treasures what belongs to her. To her, even a servant is an irreplaceable asset. Luona lowers her head and asks softly, my servant? Z cannot help feeling disgusted. Sweet on the outside, yet merely thinking about losing a servant makes her look broken. It seems Luona has decided to use her familiar weapon, looking at her with tear-filled eyes. She chokes out a sob. Ah! Seeing this, she feels deep contempt, thinking secretly, tears her most powerful weapon. Luona is never good at holding back tears when hurt, angry, or wanting to justify her actions. She sobs bitterly. Therefore, no matter how impolite she behaves, everyone always forgives her. No, they pity her and curse anyone who makes her shed tears. Like a white lily drenched in dew, those glistening tears upon her trembling eyelashes sparkle like jewels. And when Luona cries, she is no different from a fallen angel. Silence fills the air, every pair of eyes turns toward me. My adoptive father looks at me in confusion. Mother seems clueless about what is happening, while Mage's gaze overflows with hatred. As Luona's tears fall, the servants begin to whisper. That vulgar pair of mother and daughter just arrived and already caused trouble. Poor Lady Luona, if only I could serve her. Who would want to be near that wicked girl who makes her cry? Z softly smiles and asks, is my request truly that unreasonable? Then she thinks to herself, intoxicated by a small victory, I forgot Luona's true nature. As she covers her face and cries, Luona chokes back apologies. Sob, I am sorry, I am truly sorry. No, I am the one who should apologize. I just do not understand why you are crying, and I do not even know how to comfort you. She chokes out a question. Is it not simply because you hate me? She calmly denies it. Luona, I cannot understand you like this. Speak clearly so I do not make the same mistake again. Then she secretly makes a conjecture in her heart, and now the second weapon appears. Luona bows her head, sobbing in self-reproach. It is not an unreasonable request. My servants are good, they will serve you attentively as well, but I do not know why I feel so sad. Sob, sorry, I am not saying I won't send a maid to you, it's just, clenching her fist tightly, Z feels immense disgust inside. Luona's self-reproach can turn a reasonable request into blameworthy rudeness and gentle persuasion, into a stroke of emotional violence. Yet few see through that fake facade of guilt. When such a fragile girl cries and blames herself so painfully, anyone who rejects her becomes a cold-blooded monster. Now look, the whole household of the Count treats me like a thief trying to steal what belongs to Luona. Z remains silent for a moment, then smiles faintly and compromises. It is fine, Luona. You do not need to accept my Request any more. She widens her eyes in shock and asks back. Z gently advises, just stop crying or you will ruin that beautiful face. She stammers in confusion. I never said I wouldn't send a servant, it's just. Before she can finish, Z hastily cuts in. Luona, you do not need to force yourself. I do not want a minor matter to make things difficult for you. Saying this, Z thinks to herself with great satisfaction, see that? I do not cry like a child, but I will speak in the saddest voice, as if blaming myself for not being good enough. Then I pretend to care about her and solemnly assure her, from now on I will always put your feelings first. She immediately declares in her heart to make her feel guilty. Z rests her chin on her hand, a faint shade of melancholy on her face. So I truly hope others do not misunderstand. I'm causing trouble because of you. She wonders if there is any phrase that could upset Luona more than that. Luona flinches. In shock, panic evident on her face. Misunderstand? Goodness, who could possibly misunderstand me? She exposes her delicate act without hesitation. Yet ever since you started crying, everyone looks rather somber. Or rather, I am simply unfamiliar with the atmosphere of noble families. Z gently places her hand on the table. Since everyone's favor belongs to Luona, if this argument drags on, I will be the only one at a loss. At any rate, I do not want you to be sad anymore. Next, she sorrowfully stands up, thus it is best to strike and retreat. Forgive me, may I be excused? Seeing Z suddenly stand up, the Count asks, Are you unwell? She calmly replies, No, it is just that I ought to leave. Z pushes open the door, quickly moving away from this place. I leave the dining room immediately, as if unable to endure this strain. Atmosphere, someone must take the blame for this, and that person is none other than Mage. According to what I hear from Mother later, Head butler, you will pay a heavy price for hurting my daughter. Come to my office in 30 minutes. Yes, my lady. Mage is summoned, severely reprimanded, and suspended from work for 3 days. The sight of Mage, who held true power in the estate during the Marchioness's absence, being scolded comes as a huge shock to all the servants. The servants constantly whisper among themselves, because of that unrefined girl, Mage actually gets summoned. And her accomplices begin to tremble in fear as well. Even the maids who joined forces to plot against the foolish country girl now wonder how to treat me. Meanwhile, the quick-witted butler, as soon as he closes the dining room door, immediately disciplines the male servants who failed to greet me. Punished, they can only lower their heads in silence. After Z leaves the dining table, Luona cannot escape a scolding. And just as I hope, Luona seems to be severely reprimanded by my adoptive father for jumping to conclusions and hurting me, for insulting me, a lady unfamiliar with etiquette. She is criticized for her rudeness in making a promise that even she cannot keep. Since you promised to grant her anything, send a maid to Z, that is an order. My adoptive father upholds the principle that a promise made must be kept, a principle he maintains. Reminded by his wife, she stands dazed. Luona is unaccustomed to her father's anger. She reportedly just listens blankly, unable to even cry. Luona is always sheltered. When a girl raised in a greenhouse gets scolded, how does she react? This incident must be a harsh awakening for her. Right now, she walks to the fountain in the manor. I have been walking for a while, yet I still feel terrible. Damn it, Luona, more than anything. My feet hurt so much. Z sits down and sighs softly. Looking at the scrapings on her heels, she removes her high heels. It stings. The wound keeps rubbing against the shoe. This is the only pair with an open heel that they prepared. I was busy disciplining Molly this morning and left without bandaging it. Hearing a sound nearby, Z's actions suddenly pause. Wait, I hear someone's voice. Seeing a handkerchief handed over, she still dares not believe it. Is he telling me to wrap the wound with this? No one in this manor should be kind to me. Her eyes fill with confusion. Who would show such kindness? In the past, Z made a request. Hayboat, please let Sir Hayboat be my escort. In the past, I did not know how to give up. Even when I fell while running and scraped my knees, I had to get whatever I wanted. Hearing this, Luona could not believe she demanded such a thing, even showing pity for him. How dare you covet that noble knight with a pure heart, truly the daughter of a vulgar woman? She does not know her place. To satisfy my greed, Mother endured humiliation, yet she still cannot help but feel embarrassed. Z, let us talk about the night later. My younger self completely failed to understand my mother's feelings. However, back then, she did not care about her embarrassment and asked the Count directly, Father, I want Sir Hayboat to be blinded by a life of luxury. Z remains resolute in her desire. I can do this, can't I? She fails to realize that she is not standing on solid ground, but walking on thin ice, for Sir Hayboat is Luona's escort knight, which can shatter at any moment. She feels it is unfair that she cannot have him as her knight. Luona is already escorted by Sir Selfish, the instructor of the knights. So can't you give Sir Hayboat to me? The Count speaks gently, suggesting it is better to choose another knight. But Z refuses to yield. It must be him or no one at all. The one who pulls her back to harsh reality is Sir Hayboat. The Count lowers his head with a tired, defeated sigh. Z, have you still not realized that you are a member of the Count's family? Stop acting like a child. No one tells her just how noble and exalted the knight she craves truly is. Furious, he abruptly stands up and leaves the dining table. Confused, she rises as well. Just like that, the Count angrily exits the dining room. The others follow suit, leaving Z all alone. The reason is simple. How dare a commoner girl desire the greatest genius of the empire? Know your place. She isn't even the Count's true blood, is she? He is simply someone a person like her should never dare to crave. For someone like her to demand the pride and sword of the Count's family. Anxiety overwhelms her as she tastes this cold reality. I must go find Luona first. Yes, if I persuade Luona, I believe everything will return to normal. Luona lowers her head and replies, yes, I will give him to you, sister. Luona says nothing more, yet right after she goes to Hayboat and weeps softly. Sir, sob asterisk, it breaks my heart to think I cannot be by your side, but could you please protect my sister who is a far better lady than me? I beg of you. He answers firmly, the only lady I will ever serve is Lady Luona. My sword exists solely to protect the Baizabo clan and Lady Luona. Z herself goes to convince Hayboat directly. I am also a Baizabo. Besides, Luona surely asked you to serve me. But he calmly replies, the young lady merely asked. She did not command. Luona knew better than anyone that he would never choose Z. Z hastily asks, then would you obey if Luona ordered you to? I would rather break my own sword than let that happen. Therefore, I hope never to see you regarding this matter again. What follows is obvious. Z becomes the wicked older sister who raised her voice against Luona, while Luona becomes the pitiful, abused younger sister. Without a shred of restraint, the nobles sneer sarcastically, claiming it is vulgar for someone like her to make a social debut, and that she will only bring shame upon the Count's family. Compared to her, Lady Luona is the epitome of an elegant lady. It is only natural that Sir Hayboat won't spare her a second glance. Now Z's image is completely shattered. On that day, she realizes her deep inferiority complex toward Luona, that she is someone who can never be loved here and that others treat her merely out of a sense of duty. She recalls Luona playing happily in the flower garden with Sir Hayboat always at her side, protecting her. When she realizes all of this, only one thought fills her mind. If I can show that I am more outstanding than Luona, then perhaps his cold gaze will turn toward me. It might sound strange, but she had been drawn to the faint melancholy in his expression. Is love ever logical? Z sits sorrowfully beside the afternoon tea set. Every time their eyes meet, her vision blurs, her cheeks flush crimson, and she can barely breathe. Even when he speaks to her out of obligation, she feels so happy she could burst, an irrational first love. But Sir Hayboat's words instantly freeze her heart. I must ask you to stop troubling Lady Luona. I hope you will cease bothering her. Hearing this, Z freezes and stammers. What do you mean? He replies coldly. Every time I meet Lady Luona, her eyes are red with tears. She whispers that she should have introduced me to the Viscount in the first place. Ever since Luona rejected her request, Z has never asked her about Sir Hayboat again. Finished speaking, he prepares to leave. I shall take my leave. Panic-stricken, Z leaps to her feet, desperate to explain. Wait, Sir Hayboat, please wait. But in her haste, her hand brushes against the hot pastry oil. A sharp sting follows, setting off a clumsy chain of crashing dishes. That reckless motion only gives the servants more gossip to feast upon. How embarrassing, sitting obstinately under the scorching midsummer sun, it's nobody's fault but her own, and claiming she didn't bring an umbrella, just thinking about how a near beggar makes our true young lady suffer. That face deserves far worse than a mere sunburn. Looking at the painful red wound searing on her palm, it feels like a stain of disgrace. Now Z is fully awakened, her eyes burning with bitter resentment. If that monster vanishes, Lady Luona will no longer shed tears. Throughout that afternoon, the servants' cruel laughter echoes relentlessly. No matter what the Baizabo family does, she is still just a monster tormenting Luona. Raising her wounded hand, Z makes her firm decision. Fine, if that is what you want, I will gladly become that monster. 3.5 years of sorrow, rage, and despair. From that moment on, the monster of the Baizibo clan is born. Returning to the present, Zi says calmly, "Thank you for your kindness, but my conscience will not allow me to use this handkerchief to bind my wound. I shall wash it and return it later." It is merely the dutiful chivalry of a knight. Hayboat replies, "It is fine." At those words, Zi suddenly pauses. Yet why does even the smallest gesture from him still pierce my heart with pain? Zi's tone turns distant and indifferent. "Please forget about this." Wound, he stands in bewildered silence, unable to comprehend. "I cannot endure this any longer. Please," Hayboat can only nod in acquiescence to her words. Just like that, Zi leaves the garden. "If I only stare at my wounds, the road ahead will be far too long, so I pray." She casually tosses aside the handkerchief he gave her. "Please do not let my dark, clouded mind stray any further." Returning to her room, Zi ties her hair while dropping a cool reminder. "You still do not know how to greet properly." Molly pales in horror and hastily drops to her knees. Lady, I am sorry. I won't do it again. Please forgive me," recalling the shocking information. Revealed by another maid. "Molly, now is not the time to be so relaxed. The head housekeeper was severely reprimanded by the Count, and she is about to demote you to manure duty." She panics instantly. "Impossible. The gap between a personal maid and a low-level servant is night and day. I cannot be treated like this." Zi remains calm as if this is completely ordinary. "Poor Molly, it seems you have already heard the news." Molly trembles in fear at her words. "What? Am I terrified? If I beg, surely she will forgive me." Just as Molly is about to plead again, "Yes, lady, please forgive me just this once," she receives a brutal kick in return. Zi, caught off guard by the sudden attack, loses her balance and tumbles backward. "HMPH, so noisy. So who brought you that pleasant news?" Molly shivers, begging blindly for mercy. I'm sorry." However, Zi's dark, suffocating aura floods the room. "Molly, do not make me ask a second time." Feeling the overwhelming pressure, she stammers out the name. "Why Yobel? Yobel, Lady Luona's maid, told me." Thinking of how Molly conspired with Yobel against her, Zi remarks leisurely, "Yobel, is it? You two seem quite close for her to bring you such urgent news." Molly hastily answers, "Why, yes, we are close." Pleased, Zi issues her command. "Good, keep being close with Yobel." She then lifts Molly's terror-stricken face. Leaning down slightly, Zi changes the subject. "Now back to the main point. It was Mage who ordered it, right? Ordered the maids to insult me." Molly stammers defensively. "No, really it wasn't." Zi moves on to another matter. "You even put hyacinths in my face-washing water." Molly panics internally. How does she know? Zi then directly exposes Molly's malicious act. "Yet you didn't even bother mentioning that you spat in it." Molly's face turns pale, her whole body trembling violently. "This crazy witch," Zi asks again, "how much longer do you intend to hurt me?" Terrified, Molly frantically swears, "I will never do it again. I will never betray you, lady." Zi grips Molly's chin tightly, her sharp fingernail slicing a line across her face. "So that means you will do anything for me, right?" Molly fearfully obeys. "Why, yes." Then Zi slides her nail down to Molly's neck. "SHH, be a good girl, stay still. Very good, my sweet Molly. Your life rests entirely in my hands." In Molly's horrified eyes, Zi's words are no different from the whisper of a devil. "Go tell Mage that that stupid girl forgave me, so beg for one more chance and promise you will not fail again." Molly frantically obeys. "Yes, young lady, why are you still standing there? Go at once." Molly rushes out of the room. Just then a maid passing by looks at Zi's room with disgust. "HMPH, a commoner's room is just as filthy as I thought." Molly whispers a warning. "You had better behave yourself otherwise." Without letting her finish, the incoming maid wonders secretly, what is she talking about? Putting on her bonnet, she enters the room unceremoniously. "I am Ziluo, sent by the Count." Zi mumbles, "Ziluo?" Suddenly she chuckles inwardly. "Ha ha ha. Oh, Ziluo, how could I ever forget you?" She speaks aloud, "Then let us talk in our own way." In her past life, after Luona becomes the crown princess, Zi and her mother are stripped of their noble titles by the crown prince and exiled to a manor on the outskirts of the capital. Under the supervision of Ziluo, who is promoted to a senior lady-in-waiting for her service in saving Luona, and ultimately becomes the manager of the manor. She flaunts her power endlessly. There is no supervisor here, so I am the master. Ziluo performs her duties well enough. The main manor is always kept clean and immaculate. Whether she truly believes it is her own property or is preparing for Luona's visit, the manor is always lavishly decorated. However, conditions in the prisoners' quarters are vile to the extreme. Filthy, coated in mold, a damp, frigid basement room where sunlight never reaches. Every day, they live in fear of being bitten by rats while sleeping. On a bed crawling with bedbugs, Z's mother grows weak, soon contracting pneumonia and becoming bedridden. Luona sends a doctor, yet strangely, her condition never improves. Time slips by, and Ziluo humiliates her mother even further by dressing her in heavy, opulent gowns, making even breathing fresh air difficult, while even short walks outside are virtually forbidden. Instead, Ziluo dresses Z and her mother lavishly and parades them in a carriage to the plaza in front of the manor. There, those who recognize the villainous hurl stones. Picking up large rocks, they throw them while hurling insults. She is no longer a noble, but look at her dressed so luxuriously. Must feel great, huh? As she pretends to be noble while deserving none of it, their rage never cools over time. It reaches a point where Z begins to suspect someone is inciting them. You are punished because you did wrong, she used to think when stones flew toward Ziluo. Do they throw stones for justice? Yet she accidentally catches a glimpse of excited smiles hidden within the crowd. Or is it simply because they need a villain to throw stones at? A sharp rock strikes Z hard on the head. Die, that it seems is the true answer. Even so, she endures it because those stones come from strangers. But the worst part is that Luona's pen keeps moving, inscribing those words. Yet no matter how long Z waits, Luona never visits even once. As the candle extinguishes, leaving behind a thin trail of rising smoke, everything becomes so exhausting that she no longer even wants to scream. Soon, when it becomes glaringly obvious that Luona has no interest in this place, the servants abandon all pretense and openly display their malice. Back when you were a commoner, you were dirt cheap, right? Why acting so high and mighty now? Come on, if you flatter me, I'll treat you well. You're at the age to marry and have kids, aren't you? Ziluo walks over with an arrogant laugh. Gross, do you really want to mess with a girl who doesn't even know how to bathe? The man jokes cheerfully. How repulsive, don't ruin the fun. Z, with her gaunt and hollow face, always remains silent. Seeing no reaction, Ziluo knows her taunts no longer work. From then on, the food brought to them is unfit for human consumption. Because Z stops reacting to the bullying, they feed her rancid fat and moldy cheese every day, beating her if she refuses to eat. Locked in a wooden crate by Ziluo, Z can only weep and beg, "Please, Ziluo, let me out. My legs hurt so much. Just a sip of water, please." But those pleas only thrill Ziluo further. It's only been 1 day since I locked you in the cage. Letting you out this early wouldn't be any fun. Exhausted, Z just wishes her mother can survive. Then at least. Please give my mother a normal meal. I beg you. Oh, her. I went to check on her, afraid she might die, but she is no longer there. These words strike a crushing blow to her fragile, shattered mind. Her eyes widen. In rage and indignation, while Ziluo triumphantly taunts her. Did your mother run away and abandon her daughter? By now, she's probably torn apart by wild beasts out there. Only Z's desperate, agonizing shriek echoes throughout the room. Imprisoned, after that I never see my mother again. Currently, after completing her orders, Molly returns. Seeing the scene inside the room, she freezes in terror. After dealing with her, young Lady Z gently lifts the lamp, turns to her and says, "Ah, Molly, you return faster than I expect. Does Mage listen to you?" She notices the white bonnet stained with blood scattered on the floor. Terrified, she nods profusely. Yes, satisfied, she points toward the wooden barrel not far away. Very good, Molly, now lock Ziluo inside there. Seeing the object, she recoils in panic. You are asking me to lock Ziluo inside that box. Precisely. But you just heard. Molly screams in horror. Heavens, young Lady Z, what are you planning to do? She remains silent for a long moment, staring intently at the gem ring on her hand. Listen carefully. I am going to tell you an interesting story. Molly, you feel uneasy, even if you are forgiven by the young lady sooner. Or later, you will be expelled from the Count's estate. She slowly slips the ring off her finger. You must have thought that before being thrown out, you should take something. Along with you, she casually lets the ring drop. Therefore, when I leave the room, you steal this ring. But Ziluo witnesses it and says she will report you. The ring hits the stone floor directly with a clink. You swing the candlestick to silence her, accidentally striking her, and then I return to the room and scream. Listening to her spin a fictional story out of thin air, Molly becomes even more terrified. That is impossible. It makes no sense. Z slightly curls her lips into a wicked smile. No, it sounds perfectly reasonable. You already have a reputation as a maid caught plotting against me. Ziluo will be severely injured and unable to speak for a while. Trembling in terror, she inwardly curses, to frame me with that fake story. How can you do this? How can you lock a person in such a narrow space? Calmly, Z says, calm down, Molly. There is an even better choice. You know, what if the story is that the young lady is so moved by the words, I will do whatever you wish, that she bestows this ring upon her maid? Despite her fear, Molly's greedy eyes remain glued to the ring. Are you really giving me this ring? That depends on your choice. My dear, now in 5 seconds. I will scream. Panic-stricken, her face turns pale. Wait, young lady, Z does not care. 5. She smiles, thinking inwardly. You received the education and training of the nobility, and now you have grown far too arrogant. 4. Does a person like you, who considers herself moral, truly abandon all ambition? 3. Will you live a humiliating life doing vile tasks after being thrown out? She calmly awaits her choice. 2. However, there is one thing I can say for certain. 1. I will not refuse. She hastily gives her answer. I will do it. I will lock Ziluo inside the box. Satisfied, Z places a kiss on Molly's cheek. A wise choice. Molly immediately slips the ring onto her finger. So you really give me this ring? Of course, right choices always come with rewards. I will continue to make the right choices, young lady. Z is very pleased. Good, but do not forget this is your own choice. How pitiful. From the very beginning, you never had a choice at all. A few days later, in a warm room, Luona enjoys a tea party with her. Z, I am sorry about last time. Z responds, Don't be, Luona. I am very grateful that you sent that maid to me. She inwardly wonders why that girl is drinking tea with mother. She must be one of your favored maids. Luona, are you all right? I am truly fine. Ziluo is a kind maid, so I am sure she will take good care of you. The maids standing nearby look at the tea party and whisper among themselves. Young Lady Luona is trying so hard to be strong. How pitiful. Why does that woman stir up trouble in an otherwise peaceful family? Our young lady must be terribly hurt. Z leisurely lifts her teacup. Luona, are you really fine? How about I return her to you? Luona lowers her head, her voice barely a whisper. No, I am fine. Meanwhile, Z slowly savors the cup of tea in her hand. Then please stop making that face. It makes me think you are not okay. Shocked, Luona stares at her guilty reflection in the tea. What face? What face, Z? I said I am fine. Z directly exposes her true colors. You look as if you are regretting something lost. It is truly difficult to grasp your real feelings. Luona widens her eyes, her face instantly turning red. Ah! Yet Luona immediately shifts her gaze. Avoiding Z's questioning, she smiles softly. I am fine now. Good, then you should smile like that. Now I worry less. Hearing this, her mother cannot help but feel anxious, unsure of how to reconcile them. I know what mother fears. She is probably worried it will make Luona sad. The Count will no longer pay attention to us. After all, everything depends on his love for mother. Her mother then advises her, now that we are part of the Count's family, you should mind your words. But mother, sometimes passion can overpower bloodlines, just like my adoptive father. Unable to forget a woman he met only once in the past, he could not even wait until his daughter turned 18. When they met again, he immediately placed a kiss on her forehead, sought her out, and proposed. I will cherish you until the day I die. Blinded by love, he even embraced my wild and reckless past self. So now, what do we have to fear? You two are nearing the age for your social debut, right? But that prosperity does not last long. When the former head of the family squanders their fortune on gambling and eventually sells off the noble title, my mother loses her noble status. She endures a life of hardship, giving up her name and position. Then, when she reaches adulthood, the family that bought that title needs a daughter of suitable standing. Through a strange twist of fate, my mother is introduced as their daughter to attend the social debut ball. Dressed in a luxurious gown, she steps into the banquet, but all she receives are sneers from the guests. Are you not ashamed to present yourself under the name of the Wren family? I heard you used to live as a maid. One look at how you speak makes it obvious. No wonder her speech lacks refinement. Bitter as she feels, she can only endure those words in silence. Just one conversation is enough to spot a lowborn. Having witnessed both the glamour and cruelty of high society, my mother often says, remembering her words, "Z, you must always be careful with your words." She is surely worried about my upcoming social debut. Showing understanding, Z admits her fault. "I am sorry, mother. You are right. Luona, if my careless words offend you, please forgive me." Luona serenely replies, "It is all right, Z. I understand your good intentions. It is just that you are still a bit clumsy." With your words, smiling brightly at Z, it remains unclear whether her expression stems from pure kindness or pure malice. "Ah, Luona, you truly make my heart." However, Z recalls the advice. "You must always remember to smile." Z smiles gently and intertwines her fingers with Luona's. "So if I make another mistake, will you forgive me?" Luona is startled by this gesture. HMPH. Z knows deep inside that a smile is softer than water yet sharper than a blade. It can conceal every trace of malice. She gradually tightens her grip. On Luona's hand, "I am very clumsy." "You remember, right?" Flustered, Luona replies, "Ah, right." Before she can finish speaking, the whispers of the maids reach them. "Our kind young lady Luona will surely agree. Even with such troublesome requests, our young lady is too good-natured for her own good." Hearing this, she can only acquiesce. "I will forgive you." Z maintains her gentle demeanor. She does not even know how to properly refuse in front of others. "Thank you so much," Z inwardly says to herself. "Just remember that you must take responsibility for your choices." Her mother constantly feels something is off. The child's tone is strange, but it is probably nothing. Still, do not trouble Luona. "Too much, all right?" Z clasps her hands together. "Of course, are we not family?" Panicking, Luona hastily searches for an excuse to escape. "Family? Ah, what a pity, I must leave now. My literature tutor is arriving shortly. May I visit again another time?" Z's mother looks at her nervously, curious about the response. "She will give." Z immediately presses her hands on the table and stands up, while her mother affectionately pulls Luona into a hug. "Of course, my dear, you are always welcome anytime. Thank you so much for calling me mother." Seeing this scene, Z flashes a meaningful smile and swiftly strides toward them, embracing Luona from behind. "I am so happy that we have become a family." Luona also sighs softly. "I am truly happy." Her mother gently replies, "Me too, my dear." The heartwarming family scene moves the maids to tears. Though looking joyful on the outside, Z secretly curses in her heart. "Damn it. Ah, I am also very happy. Because it is crucial for good rumors about the new family to spread first, there is no other choice." Before she leaves, her mother even waves goodbye. "Then, Luona, I will see you at dinner," recalling the scene of them kissing each other's cheeks. And seeing how happy her mother still looks, she realizes her mother must truly love being called mother. Seeing her kiss that girl like that, Z feels as if something is being stolen from her. Her mother turns around and asks softly, "Shall we take a walk in the garden, Ciro?" Hearing this, joy lights up her eyes. "That is the nickname she used to call me when I was little." Flustered and blushing, she links her arm with her mother's. Her mother gently strokes her hair. "My most beautiful daughter in the world? How childish. Why do I feel so relieved with just this touch?" In the spacious garden, the two stroll together. "Ciro, do you dislike Luona?" "Oh, what makes you think that? They seemed so harmonious just moments ago." "Oh, perhaps I am being too sensitive as a mother, but it feels like you were a bit harsh with her." She calmly responds, "I am merely being too blunt because I am not used to aristocratic speech. I apologize if I worried you, mother. From now on, I will be more careful." "I would be grateful if you do so, but somehow, Ciro, you seem to have changed quite a bit." She smiles serenely as if nothing is amiss. "Is that not a good thing?" "Well, yes, but still, promise me that you will continue to get along with Luona from now on." A promise she has no intention of keeping. In Z's eyes lies an unusually profound calm. "Of course," she promises without a shred of shame, looking at her mother, who is still full of vitality before her. "My beloved mother, for your happiness I can invent any lie I need." Her mother's gaze suddenly changes. "By the way, Luona has not given me the Count's keys yet." A hint of malice appears on Z's face. "I thought she was supposed to hand them over to you immediately." "Perhaps not." "Well, since it symbolizes the true mistress of the house, I am sure she will give them soon." Luona must be holding on to the key out of fear, the fear of losing her true power and authority. The longer she delays handing it over, the more disappointed mother will be with her. The mother-daughter bond they just built will completely shatter. I hope you will not become a shield. Protecting Leona, her mother hopes Z's words will come true. Yes, as you said. I believe Leona will hand it over soon. She hugs her mother, placing a kiss on her cheek, thinking silently, You are my mother, not Leona's, right? Of course she will give it to you soon, mother, if Leona truly views you as her real mother then. A small trick like this should be fine, shouldn't it? Once, while drinking beer with everyone, Hayboat heard no shortage of stories. That necklace under the drawer, our youngest recently started understanding words. When the time comes, I will propose to her in the village square with grand display. I will start by fixing the barn roof. Mother has always worked so hard. Everyone merrily clinks glasses together. Never forget this promise and these congratulations. Kill her. Is the command issued? The sword drops for the execution. Dreaming of that scene, he wakes up abruptly, drenched in cold sweat. Hayboat lowers his head, panting heavily, then raises his face with a weary sigh. Suddenly, someone appears out of nowhere. Oh, you are awake. Another nightmare. I wonder if people know that the great war hero wakes up dripping with sweat every morning. Would you like me to start a rumor about that? Hayboat's expression remains emotionless. Do I truly look like such a shameless man to you? My lord, no matter how loose my tongue is. Come on, how could a page like me gossip about my own master? Besides, there are even more interesting stories in the Count's house. Malicious rumors about that tea party spread. Z is depicted as a villain under a gentle guise. They say the new young lady begged Lady Leona for a personal maid and even pushed her to the point that Lady Leona cried. The maids claim they have never seen such rude and shameless demands. Rumors are not worth believing, instead use that time to polish another sword. But this is what everyone is discussing. Don't you think the new young lady is being a bit too greedy? He feels completely helpless. I have told you many times. The page immediately turns to leave, echoing the words Hayboat once advised. A knight must not speak of injustice, nor let lies rest upon his tongue. Maintain integrity and do not let go. Then your life will not condemn you. I will go polish the swords, my lord. He sighs heavily in annoyance. Even when scolded harshly, that mouth cannot stay quiet for more than 2. Every day, everyone here speaks ill of Z, the knight's training. Alongside me, my page, and everyone walking through the main hall all mention her name even before I meet her. That arrogant girl who does not know her place. Yet, what kind of person is Lady Z whom I see? That afternoon, when she takes the handkerchief, her hand trembles softly from fear of unfamiliar things. She quietly swallows her sorrow, shrinking beneath the malice of others. Even if she is not a count's daughter, is it not human nature to want to help someone in pain? Surely there are servants to help her prepare in the morning, so why does no one tend to the wound on her leg when she speaks? I will wash this and return it to you later. I feel pity for her. Hayboat feels a surge of empathy at that moment. It is fine, I say impulsively, telling her she does not need to return the handkerchief. I know such sentimentality is irrational, but after all, every beautiful thing I have ever seen is so fragile. Perhaps that is why I cannot help but worry for that girl. On another side, the shopkeeper grins, showing off 2 gold teeth. Welcome to Moonlight's Breath. Are you looking for stationery? Please take a look at our new brooches as well. Z asks him to show her the stationery designed by Dirio first. Oh, young lady has such exquisite taste. 10 minutes ago, everyone was noisily asking if the window display items were sold out. The shopkeeper answers, let me check the warehouse, seeing the crowd. Today, it seems the sky lantern is extinguished. What does it mean that the sky lantern is extinguished, manager? The manager quickly replies, it means the sky lantern shop is closing. Rookie Sky Lantern is known as the best-selling store in the capital. Where is the shopkeeper? The shopkeeper warns. Do not recklessly go looking for the master like that. Cobb, there are only 3 cases where one is allowed to seek the master. 1 is when his daughter arrives, 2 is when Sky Lantern goes bankrupt. Or, all right, I know, they say price is no object. Bring me the rarest item, that big spender. Returning to reality, Z negotiates with the shopkeeper. Dirio's Rosarium collection will be very suitable to have enough resources to buy a master's entire collection. Like Dirio, this set is the last one remaining and is extremely expensive. Are you sure? At that time, Z asserts firmly that price does not matter, leaving the shopkeeper deeply skeptical. Could there be someone this rich whom I do not know? Z requests. Please soak all this paper in rose water and dry it for me. The shopkeeper thinks to himself, It seems she is a newly rich noble with no noble lineage, yet she has a taste for flowers. Soaking finished products in rose water is quite difficult. I fear it cannot be done. Young lady, no matter how much you pay, I do not take such demanding requests. She smiles softly. I am Z by Zabo, just. Do it, he gasps in shock. By Zabo, is she Z of Count by Zabo? Rumor has it that the illegitimate daughter is rude, but she is so remarkably noble and elegant. It is truly an honor to meet you. If it is for the Baizabo clan, I can personally prepare 10 bundles of paper. Soaked in rose water, Z suddenly speaks. No, 30 bundles. I will entrust you with the paper I intend to use for the rest of my life. Once a month, I will come to select the latest design, and you will soak them in rose water for me. Can you do it? He ponders. It is a pity she is an illegitimate child, but this is an opportunity to retain the Count's family as a regular client. Moonlight's breath boasts the finest rose water paper-soaking technique in the Empire, but with current capabilities, he wonders if he can produce more than 20 bundles a month without ruining them. Z reminds him this paper is meant for Lady Marian Chattoris. He recoils in shock. Heavens, will this paper be sent to the Red Rose Palace? Z nods. Yes, do you not wish to become a bridge between her and me? It is very possible. For Moonlight's breath to swallow. Sky Lantern, are you still hesitating? The woman at the center of rumors and scented writing. Paper, very well, I will do it. A great gale is about to blow through high society. Is it her again? Everyone paints her. Lucky to meet a talented painter, she instantly becomes the muse of the artistic world through a nude portrait. At first, she shamelessly claims it is an unauthorized exhibition. Clearly, she begged to be painted just to draw attention. Otherwise, how could anyone be so brazen? They say even the emperor summons her to the palace. Does it make sense for a woman no different from a circus clown to shake the entire empire? From one person to another, amid mocking laughter and obsession, perhaps even vulgarity must yield before such bewitchment. That name is Lady Marian Chattoris. She instantly captures the emperor's heart and becomes his mistress, holding power greater than the empress herself. Chattoris is so obsessed with high society gossip that rumor says every scandal flows directly to her, and she personally passes all these stories to the emperor. Oh, my adorable little kitten. The emperor delights in Chattoris's taunts directed at the arrogant nobles, and that is precisely how she maintains his favor. Hundreds send letters to Chattoris, seeking something even more thrilling. It is said that if your letter is chosen by the lady, you receive gold and jewels. Everyone hides under the guise of storytelling to expose the shameful secrets of others. A compelling comedy needs a stage, does it not? And at that very moment, the lady creates a musical theater room exclusively for the emperor. As a trendsetter, she spares no expense to decorate everything with the finest materials, hiring the most seasoned musical actors and staging perfect performances. By the court orchestra, and what Chattoris hungers for most is, people say furniture crafted by the artisan Benjamin Suizel possesses patterns so unique and breathtakingly beautiful. When blended with the mysterious culture of the Eastern continent, those pieces become magnificent while exuding sublime elegance. I dare say his craftsmanship will certainly not disappoint you, young lady. I will introduce the craftsman whom Chattoris once worked so hard to find in the past, before she herself does so. This time I want to be the one to make the first move. Perhaps Chattoris finds it amusing to see me dare show hostility toward Luona, whom everyone praises. In the past, Chattoris also showed immense interest and favor toward me, but foolishly. Back then, it seemed our humble blood recognized one another. I maintained my distance. Amid the judgmental gazes of everyone, Z commands her servant, send it to the Red Rose Palace as soon as possible. But now I understand, so-called noble honor easily collapses before power. I am finished using the private room you lent me. The shopkeeper rubs his hands together, smiling. So fast, you may stay a little longer. That is precisely why I must create people who will stand on my side even if it is just one day sooner, thinking. This, she replies, I am busy, I shall take my leave. Molly, do not dawdle, follow me quickly. Ah, what is this? Just as Z is about to fall, a courteous hand quickly reaches out. Oh dear, it seems I have been impolite. Z quickly thinks of someone. Could this be Siren, who is said to seduce others with his Voice as dangerous as a coastline of dark waves, he carefully supports her waist. Are you all right? Z is utterly surprised. At the same time, she has never heard such a sweet voice. He asks again, are you all right? Young lady, I shall help you up. Miss, I think it will be difficult for you to move through the crowd on your own. She thinks holding on like this is rude, but it is true she cannot escape by herself. Z scans her surroundings. Everyone is both panicked and eager to show off. Miss, I will take you as well. I will push through using force. Hey, what? Z is completely at a loss for what to do in this situation. She leaves herself in his hands as he clears a path through the crowd while shielding her from bumps. How skillful. Is this man at escorting someone? Sure enough, Z soon sees the sky outside. She swiftly regains her composure. She speaks. I do not know which family you belong to, but you have helped me immensely. How can I repay? You, he hastily declines. No, the one who caused the trouble in the first place is me. Z thinks to herself. That lingering, enchanting voice makes my ears tingle. He continues. So you do not need to worry about that. A well-bred young lady should not even raise her head to look at a man's face. Z originally does not care about the face of the person standing opposite her, but then she suddenly notices eyes glowing with a strikingly vibrant blue and a gentleman with an unadorned appearance. If he appears in high society, he will become the talk of the entire city. Why do I not remember him in my memories of the past? Suddenly she asks, are you acquainted with Lady Chatteris? I do not understand why. My young lady asks that. I happened to overhear you mention her briefly, and I suppose it piqued my great interest. There are always beasts hungering for bones that still have meat. His answer startles Z. Gathering around power is not uncommon for such beasts, but between him and them he possesses something far superior. Above all, in his blue eyes flashes a flicker of disdain and disgust, emotions hard to ignore. What should I do? I have no connection to Lady Chatteris. I merely used a small trick. A trick? This shopkeeper is greedy. He will not even spare a glance for anyone who cannot bring wealth or influence. He only displays high-end goods when a person of power visits. Thus, I merely pretended to have a connection with the lady for the purpose of acquiring the desired items. Ah, just to get a letterhead? Are you saying it is fine if my honor is tarnished by this misunderstanding? Z shakes her head and replies calmly, no, we simply do what benefits us. I have obtained the item I want, and he can advertise that his client is a high-ranking noble connected to royalty, capable of elevating his store to the top. In the capital, how despicable. Do you know this is something only a swindler would do? Z smiles nonchalantly and replies, yes, I will not deny that, so what is the issue? Everyone conducts business under Lady Chatteris's name, even with the nude artwork she owns, even though the emperor granted her a castle in Chatteris, elevated her status to marchioness, and made her his mistress. Imagine how fierce the public reaction is. People remember the star of the circus. Everyone worships Chatteris while simultaneously despising her, buying literature and paintings mocking her, and regardless of status, everyone turns into a beast devouring her. Do I need to give examples? At the same time, hoping for even a crumb to fall, there are always beasts craving the meat left on the bone. People linger near Chatteris, shamelessly eavesdropping. Yet, young master, you also sought to connect with the marchioness. I do not understand why she is called a swindler. He is momentarily stunned by her words. I have been impolite to you, young lady. I do not know how to apologize. She thinks he does not seem apologetic at all. How can past rudeness be erased? But let us consider it even, given the help I received in the shop. Suddenly, he takes her hand and places a kiss upon it. A generous calculation. I am Ziadulu of the Bis clan. Z thinks to herself. A kiss on the left hand, what a strange man. I am Z of the Bizabo clan. If roles were reversed, I would do the same. Ziadulu smiles. You must be the young lady in the rumors. And you, young master, seem to have never even heard those rumors. Ziadulu replies softly. That makes sense. To know the truth behind the curtain, few dare cast aside fear and leap into the dark. Ness, are you confessing that you yourself are dangerous? Ziadulu does not deny it. If so, will you push away the hand that I hold? Those who do not take risks gain nothing. Z shakes her head. No, I will pull you closer. If it grants me a moment so beautiful that I wish to stop time, I fear no danger. For the first A hint of hesitation flashes across Ziadulu's face, and then he bursts out laughing. Ha ha, Z stares at Ziadulu without blinking. For the first time, a smile seems to come from the bottom of his heart. The very next second, Ziadulu suddenly swoops down beside her. Hands, that abrupt action causes Z's face to flush bright red. Your fragrance is like narrowly oil, but our acquaintance ends here today. My heart aches because time moves so cruelly, so I look forward to meeting you again someday, Lady Bizabeau. Z glances back at the crowd gathering behind her and thinks, you are attracting too much attention. Hey friend, why is he exaggerating so much for a person to receive such excessive favor? Everyone whispers, asking who that woman is. She thinks it is not good to draw attention even before her social debut. We already started with the prejudice that my mother and I are vulgar, since she had a child yet still seduced the Count. It is not good to make others stay on guard against the new young lady of the Bizabeau clan. Just as Z takes a few steps outside, Molly and the guard quickly rush over. Young lady, we are late because of the crowd. Did you manage all right on your own? Yes, I am fine. Where did that man go all by himself? He disappears instantly. He asks questions as he pleases and vanishes after satisfying his curiosity. What a rude man. Molly timidly speaks up. Young lady, there is. Is something wrong? Z quickly turns away. No, it is nothing. Let us return now. She can only hope that man does not carelessly talk about today's events. More importantly, what does he really want by asking about the connection to Lady Marian Chadoris? Is it too far-fetched to think that I have met the mastermind, someone my past self could never meet because I did not go out on this day in Gravida, remaining utterly clueless until my death? Before stepping into the carriage, she turns her head once more. She sees a dazzling light in the distance. Z opens her mouth to say something, but then merely chuckles softly. Until next time. I do not know if he sees my carriage, but hearing the loud laughter pour out, I consider this round a tie. Night falls, and Z's room is bathed in moonlight. Molly speaks cautiously. My lady, are you asleep? Z asks. What is it? Molly replies. Ziluo is desperately calling for you, saying that she was wrong. She cannot even endure 2 full days. The malice I saw in Ziluo is surely just an empty illusion, like a sandcastle doomed to collapse pointlessly if it cannot remain in Luona's shadow. Molly asks, trembling, what should we do, my lady? Will you release her now? Z tells her to go bathe Ziluo and give her some thin soup. To gain someone's trust, you must use the carrot and stick properly. Apply herbal salve to Ziluo's wounds, wrap them in linen, and thoroughly clean her inside. Molly is utterly astonished. Are you forgiving Ziluo, my lady? Forgive? Did you just utter the word forgive? However, merely using the stick on Ziluo. If head-made mage is the mastermind, then she is just a loyal pawn executing the mastermind's plan. I hear that commoner visits young Lady Luona every night, shouting at me to hand over Lord Hayboat. She is so loyal that she devises all sorts of insidious schemes. Last time, Our Lady collapsed after drinking the black tea her mother recommended. Moreover, Ziluo is the very person who stepped up and helped Luona escape so she could attend the royal ball. My lady, I am here. And Ziluo is the one who laughed triumphantly behind Luona's back when my mother and I were imprisoned by order of the Crown Prince. Knowing that blind devotion, do you think I will accept her surrender so easily? Molly trembles and drops to her knees. My lady, if you do not forgive her. Z cuts Molly off. I cannot kill her, can I, considering the length of time I have stayed in this manner? Hurry and go now, if we want to bring Ziluo back. In before morning, I will lock Ziluo up until she becomes completely obedient to me, until Luona's people become my people, until there is no one left by Luona's side. Luona, I will plunge to the very bottom of hell together with you, and you will regret that choice. Dionysus, the god of wine and madness. From his very birth, he suffers under the wrath of Hera. Thus Zeus hides him within his own thigh to nurture him. The young Dionysus avoids Hera's gaze, growing up among the grapevines, but upon reaching adulthood, Hera finds him and instills madness into his mind. Dionysus wanders through the wilderness, seemingly losing himself. Yet in the end, he learns to master both wild instinct and reason, returning to his motherland to teach the poor how to make wine. He grants them wine and festivals, and though such fervent worship is suppressed by the nobility, the weak still gather quietly in secret. At first, it is merely a simple dance, stepping in rhythm, arms swaying, gentle movements that initiate the ceremony. But as wine flows abundantly, the light in people's eyes changes. They dance. Like wild beasts, trampling the grapevines as the rhythm grows increasingly fierce and intoxicating. Loud. Laughter resounds, wine spills beneath their feet, and they tear their clothes to shreds. And, in that ecstatic trance, even the lowest of people become one with the god of their devotion. That festival is known as Dionysia. Ze carves the meat while sighing in admiration. Indeed, hearing that story through your enchanting voice feels like an exquisite new melody. Luona says excitedly, yes, the most fascinating part is how that collective madness provides them with a new form of bonding. When worshippers fall into a state of ecstatic frenzy, it does not merely lead to primal chaos. Z thinks to herself, Luona seems to have forgotten that I was once just a commoner, having never received a proper education. Luona continues, is it not fascinating, the emergence of such an extraordinary bond, a departure from the usual social order? Luona's words strike Z as ridiculous. Otherwise, why would she chatter endlessly in a language designed solely to make an uneducated person feel ashamed of their own ignorance? Thinking this, she smiles softly and replies, precisely. Achieving solidarity among members through sheer intense emotion, completely casting aside reason, demonstrates something far beyond pure madness, though the ritual strayed far from normalcy as the boundaries of the self dissolved in emotional unity. Z lifts a piece of meat to her mouth, her eyes carefully watching Luona's expression. The isolation of those cast aside was surely soothed by that shared ecstasy. I can respond calmly only because it is something I once studied. Had I been unable to answer, everyone knows what the outcome would have been. In her mind appears the vision of Luona looking at her with feigned innocence. Ah, I am sorry, Sister Z. You probably do not know about this, right? Z recalls everything she endured to reach this moment. How hard did I have to labor? Simply because I hated the pitiful look she gave me, sleeping 4 hours at most, 2 at least. Not knowing where to start, I recklessly read every book from liberal arts to commercial theory. To speak with elegant pronunciation, I kept a glass marble in my mouth all day long until my molars cracked. The calluses on my heels from dance practice I shaved off time after time, even when coughing up blood due to an unbalanced lifestyle. I still believed that one day I would step out of Luona's shadow and be recognized for who I am. Rewinding back to a charity event in the past, a nun places a floral wreath upon a noblewoman's head, bestowing a blessing. God always remembers those who walk through the thorny night to bring the dawn's light to others. Several other women whisper softly among themselves. A charity event for orphans cared for by the convent. It is not bad to do good deeds once in a while, but the Baizabo clan's organization is utterly chaotic. At that time, Z's mother anxiously questioned the head maid. What is the meaning of this, mage? We agreed to use roses for decoration to match the pavilion. Why decorate with lilies in the middle of summer? The perfume is overpowering and unpleasant. Mage explained. I am also terribly flustered, my lady. This morning the gardener said the flowers had to be changed because the previous ones were ruined. These tree rows were planted to provide shade. Surely the gardener misunderstood the orders. The complaints and criticisms of the guests echo around them. Just think, must we sit under the burning sun like common peasants? The scenery is a total disaster. I never expected them to prune the branches so excessively. It seems their enthusiasm was a bit overdone. Z's mother solemnly tries to find a solution. Guests will arrive in just a few hours. In the end, she turns away helplessly. First, set up something to create shade. Quickly. Yes, my lady, I will attend to it immediately. Please do not worry too much. She chuckles with subtle irony. The guests will surely consider the charitable spirit of the event as the most important matter, right? As expected, she later turns everything into a catastrophe. The entire charity event passes amidst nothing but complaints and harsh judgment. The menu is so bland. Roasted ribs, far too heavy for today. A refreshing salad or delicate fish would be much more appropriate. And dessert is a glaring red strawberry cake like this. According to dining etiquette, I was never taught that colors on a banquet table should scream so loudly. I also do not understand the dress code of mere simple white gowns. We did not come here to practice humility. Is that not overly restrained? Truly a vulgar background, lacking any notion of how to host a social gathering. Suddenly, a few children arrive holding floral wreaths. Hello, these are flower crowns we made ourselves as a thank you gift. We are truly grateful for what you have done for us. Two ladies smile warmly as they accept the crowns, but secretly mock them. I did not expect to actually meet real orphans. Though it is a gathering for a good cause, I wonder if it is necessary to mix social classes like this. Does the Countess really think this is what we desire? Their words, filled with disdain and hatred, are picked up by the children. Naive or foolish, a little girl whispers softly, "It seems they do not want to accept our flower crowns." The boy beside her replies hesitantly, "But we should still give one to that lady, right?" The nun said to share with everyone, but she looks so frightening. Z turns to look at the children, her sunken eyes fixing on them before commanding, "You too, come here." The little boy recoils in fear that she spotted them. Z's slender arm reaches out. I heard the Count's daughter has witch-like fingernails and is extremely cruel. Seeing the boy standing frozen, Z slowly approaches. The boy bites his lip anxiously. She is going to chase us away because we are just commoners. As her footsteps draw closer, he squeezes his eyes shut, for even his own parents abandoned them, and tears uncontrollably well up, so no. No one welcomes us, but unexpectedly Z kneels down before the boy and gently wipes away his tears. "What are you hesitating for? Why not place it on my head?" Her gesture causes his eyes to widen in shock. "A witch, she is definitely a witch," Z playfully threatens. "If you do not place it on me, I will eat you up." "She really is a witch?" Suddenly Z asks, "Have you children ever eaten strawberries?" "No, never. You have never tried strawberries." Warmth opens up the children. She asks again, "Is that what you wish to eat? Then there is nothing to worry about. Follow the steward and enjoy some strawberry tart." "Really? Can we truly eat it?" "Indeed, and meat as well." "Wow, thank you, lady," the little girl asks softly. "Do we not have to eat vegetable soup today?" The boy smiles brightly. "We get to eat meat today." "Real meat?" The little girl shakes her head. "I do not want fish." Her innocence makes the boy laugh. "That is different. Express your thanks to that young lady quickly." Z points her hand toward her mother. "Give your thanks to the most beautiful lady over there." Her mother at that moment was still worrying about the guests. "Now let us go view the donation display area." She does not forget to add, "And listen, do not eat too much or your stomach will hurt, and remember to pack some to take home." The children obey obediently. "Yes, my lady." Z quietly reflects. Even back then, I still sought to understand why I was always an outsider. Suddenly, someone gasps, "Goodness, look, the embroidered gloves from young Lady Bizabeau bear the Count's family crest. Does that mean whoever owns them receives the family's protection? What a meaningful gift among all donations. The technique is so extraordinary, the subtle shading rendered like flowing water. Simply astounding." Hearing those compliments gives Z a ray of hope. So I told myself it was all because I had not tried hard enough. They continue chatting among themselves about the gift boxes. And above all, she embroidered dozens of pairs of gloves so that as many children as possible could receive them. How wonderful! It must have required immense effort. Z reassures herself. If I just work harder, perhaps someone will acknowledge me. But their final words splash over her like a bucket of ice water. Young Lady Luona is truly a kind-hearted soul. At that moment, her heart breaks into pieces, and I clung to that foolish hope. Young Lady Luona is truly a kind-hearted person. These gloves were embroidered by my own hands. Seeing this, the others quickly whisper among themselves. Meanwhile, Z's eyes turn hollow. "Really? Is this truly the work of young Lady Z?" Immediately, she responds without hesitation, "Yes, I." Suddenly, another girl interrupts. "That is right. Just as she says, this is Sister Z's work. Although this is also my first time seeing it with my own eyes, I know how much heart and soul she poured into today." As soon as she finishes speaking, murmurs ripple through the crowd again. "Did she really make them herself? Sister, since when did your skill improve so much? It is truly astonishing." Hearing this, Z replies coldly, "Thank you, Luona." Their voices rise once more. "Indeed, since when did she become so skilled?" Nearby, Luona softly claps her hands, wearing an excited and admiring expression. "A few weeks ago, the frequency of your visits to Lady Corey increased drastically, so it turns out. You were learning the craft." Hearing this, the crowd whispers endlessly. "Corey Josephine, that genius of lace embroidery. Lady Corey comes from the East, does she not?" "Of course, if it is her, then. This level of embroidery is entirely possible. They say she uses techniques completely different from traditional embroidery. There is no way such a low-born commoner could do it all by herself. Now everything is clear," Z slowly admits. "I did receive guidance from her ladyship, but I made the gloves with my own hands." But before she can finish speaking, someone else's voice interrupts. "Oh my, what is that over there?" Judging by the size of that veiled artwork, it seems to be a wall hanging. Although my technique is not as refined as Sister Z's, I also wish to share this piece with everyone present today. At this moment, her face. Z's expression turns colder. Pulling back the red curtain with a firm hand, Luona speaks. I hope this embroidery, representing the collective heart of us all, hangs upon the monastery wall to bring dreams and comfort to the children. I have embroidered the crests of every family participating in the sponsorship, to demonstrate the social responsibility and benevolence of the nobility before those who have nothing in their hands. Everyone gazes in marvel and admiration. Truly, it is utterly beautiful, Luona swiftly explains. This is not merely an act of charity, but a work that symbolizes our duty and honor. It feels as though we are all bound together in the virtue of benevolence when such a noble creation resides in that impoverished place. What a grand favor for those children. This is the greatest gift we can bestow upon them. To complete such a work, young Lady Luona must have experienced deep emotional turmoil. In truth, because I have never known a mother's warmth, I understand the children's hearts better than anyone. As soon as the words fall, the young ladies shed tears of sympathy. Just imagine how much Luona must have suffered. I too know the pain of losing everything. Meanwhile, Z feels bitter and unwilling to accept this. How miraculous that Luona knows how to turn pain into such a magnificent piece. Her soul is truly noble. Someone who already has everything like her leaves nothing for me to take. You do not have to carry that sorrow alone. Even so, you can lean on us. What is this? A pitch-black wall of despair. Rumors say that the embroidery takes inspiration from the rituals of Dios. Snapping back to reality, Z's eyes widen in surprise. Beside her, her mother stares silently at the back of her own hand, deep inside. Z thinks, to the nobility, cultural knowledge at this level is a basic requirement, and anyone who lacks it is deemed ignorant. I deliberately made her reread that myth, out of fear that my mother wouldn't keep up with the conversation. She recalls the words Luona once said, this time studying the core principles of management, the commercial rights of the Count's family along the Salodum coast, and the adjustment of export volumes, which fills her with discontent. It is utterly irritating how she keeps flaunting her knowledge. Then Z says, Luona, you are truly knowledgeable in so many areas. I thoroughly enjoy this insightful conversation and am glad you can help, but the food is growing cold. While we keep praising your intellect, my throat grows parched from admiring your wisdom. Forgive me for asking, but have you only been thinking of yourself, making it hard for others to keep up? No, it is fine. I also enjoy conversing. I simply want you to eat while the food is still warm. Flesh is inherently at its softest while warm. Do you understand my meaning? Yes, I will eat at once. The Count speaks up. Now that I recall, a letter arrived today stating they will come to the manor within 3 days. What are they coming here for? The exhibition takes place at the end of this month. They said they are coming to see the exhibition, so I invited them to stay at the Count's manor to meet conveniently. Moreover, I have a request to ask of them. Hearing this, her mother's face darkens. A request. A noble lady who is the ideal role model for every young lady. Yes, someone who can instruct Z, a lady among ladies, a paragon of nobility among the noble elite whom everyone longs to meet, and who could be more suitable than the aunt of the children? Marchioness Lavalier is coming. Memories swell inside Z of how she used to tutor her in the past. Her mother suddenly speaks. That is right, it will be an immense honor, Z ponders. When my mother first paid her respects to the Marchioness, she merely stared at my mother in silence without uttering a single word, silent as if my mother were unworthy of conversation, as if my mother's very existence were undeserving of acknowledgement, and after more than an hour of that heavy silence, the only words the Marchioness uttered were, I have wasted my time. An ordinary woman offers nothing worthy of my observation. Oh, my sweet child, Marchioness Lavalier crushed my feminine pride without a shred of mercy. Z falls into an endless pit of anxiety. Unexpectedly, her mother grips her hand tightly, gazing affectionately at her. Z reassures her, Mother, do not worry. But if Marchioness Lavalier agrees to teach me, I fear it will burden her. She will teach the fundamental rules of etiquette and dignity that a young lady ought to possess, alongside various subjects, history, literature, embroidery, horseback riding, dance, and much more. The Count also offers comforting words. Do not worry, those subjects will be taught by private tutors. Then what a relief, I worried it would be too demanding for her. In her past life, her father's side also hired a completely new set of tutors so they would not overlap with Luona's, solely to make her feel comfortable. Unable to resist, she steps up to him and kisses his cheek. If not for him, she would already be dead. Luona is raised under the strict etiquette of the central nobility. Regional customs of showing affection with a cheek kiss might seem somewhat odd. A moment later, he cannot help but laugh happily. It is not the behavior of high nobility, yet in some way it remains utterly endearing. Opposite him, Ziyi smiles brightly, thinking to herself, "Most of the etiquette I will learn is likely knowledge I already possess. I will conceal what I know, feign ignorance, and study harder, absorbing everything without missing a single detail. I will do my best as a member of the Baizibo clan to earn a reputation for diligence and talent equal to Luona." Thinking this, she replies, "Yes, I am looking forward to it." Elsewhere, a soft voice echoes, "Then please call for me if you require anything further." "Very well, you may leave now. There is still 1 year left until my social debut. The perfection of a noble lady can be learned from Marchioness Lavalier, but learning how to become a far superior noble lady, someone who effortlessly manipulates others, is quite difficult to master within the suffocating nobility. To crush Luona, I need something that captivates everyone completely. Not merely a beauty that instantly enchants people, but something far greater, something mysterious and dangerous. Like the quiet before nightfall, yet impossible to look away from. Why does that man suddenly cross my mind? Yet applying his methods directly to myself as a woman will be exceedingly difficult. Lady Marian Chadoris would be the most exceptional person in this domain. But I do not know when she will reply to my letter, and she herself is in a position where she needs a noble pretext to compensate for political shortcomings. Thus, there is no chance she will discuss such matters. Whom should I seek out? As long as I can drag Luona down, I am willing to learn from anyone, even if they are criticized as vulgar and filthy. Suddenly, a voice inquires, "Are you the young lady of the Baizibo clan?" Z's eyes widen in astonishment. Just because I thought of him does not mean I wish to see him. Meanwhile, Ziadulu exclaims, "Oh my, forgive me for lacking propriety due to drunkenness." Seeing this, she speaks with subtle irony while he flirts with a woman outside. I couldn't even tell who was inside while crossing the bridge because of the vines. Besides, are you always this kind of person? The image of a man dripping with lust appears. At this moment, Ziadulu forces his heavy body up. I ought to greet you with proper etiquette. Yet he immediately lurches forward, knocking over a wine bottle nearby. He sits motionlessly on the long bench. Ziadulu asks, "Will you help me?" Suddenly, someone's voice rings out in reproach. "You said you would only drink 2 bottles. You are the type who only sleeps after drinking more than 3 bottles. I will wipe your neck as well." Z is secretly surprised. That woman looks so familiar. She cannot help but admire her. Lovely, with a captivating smile that can spellbind anyone, and a slender waist transitioning into graceful curves. Meanwhile, Ziadulu rambles incoherently. "Once again, I offer my respectful greetings." Watching the intimate scene before her, Z notes, "Judging from her playful demeanor, she shows no sign of being a proper noble lady. Even after knowing who I am, she shamelessly pretends ignorance and shamelessly waits for me to introduce myself first. Somehow it feels quite provocative. I am not standing here to exchange social pleasantries. I shall take my leave now." Hearing this, Ziadulu instantly looks puzzled. "What, leaving already?" He hastily grabs her hand. "Sit down and talk with me. I am certain it will be time well spent. Palin will keep you company." Palin immediately exclaims, "Oh, asking me to be a companion without even a proper introduction. How impolite I must seem to you. My lady, I turned down other invitations because I adored this banquet so much. How cold-hearted. If I am treated like this, I would rather return to my shop. Instead, I turned away all my reserved clients, and this is what I receive in return." Z ponders. As she flirts shamelessly, even in public, speaking of shop invitations and rejected clients, she is essentially declaring herself to be a fallen woman. So what will the noble young lady do now? A courtesan, a fallen woman scorned by day, selling her tainted affections. By night, valued lower than cheap meat at a butcher's shop. reviled more than the corpse of a plague-ridden rat. The lowest dregs of this city, a courtesan. The cynical image of a noblewoman arises. Just sharing the same air with such filth disgusts me. Z falls back into thought. Any self-respecting noble who learns her true identity would feel revulsion and leave at once. Knowing such stares, Palin must have hesitated to speak at the same time. Ziadulu merely rests his chin on the back of his hand in contemplation. Z wears a cold, perplexed, and uncomfortable expression. I do not know what you expected, but I will not comply with your request. Z stares intently at the person before her. Suddenly, Ziadulu speaks up out of nowhere. How? Fascinating, my lady, making her slightly puzzled. What do you mean? The fact that you are still standing here. What did you expect? It seems you have forgotten who offered the seat first. Poor thing, I hope the wine clears your mind soon, because is my request truly only that. Z looks at Palin Long, thinking to herself, a spark of curiosity in her eyes, mixed with a subtle, vague sense of caution. It almost makes me smile. Thinking this, she speaks. Do I need a special reason to sit here? Consider it a passing whim. On the other hand, I am curious about your motives. Why did you grab a lady's hand so rudely? If that was not intended to humiliate me, then you ought to apologize right now. Ziadulu of the Baizibo family, I offer my deepest apologies to my lady. Z crosses her arms, speaking sarcastically. It is not entirely sincere, but it is acceptable enough. I shall accept it magnanimously. Glory to the benevolence of the Baizibo family. Despite how annoying he is, his voice can still melt anyone's heart. Well then, Tayland, you cannot remain quiet any longer, can you? Someone of lower status must greet first. At this, she rises. Greetings, my lady, I am Palin Long. Z requests, please do not come too close. Why is she so tall? Should I withdraw myself instead? Yes, perhaps in my own way. This is quite intriguing. Palin Long laughs and says, how absurd, what could I possibly be to you, master? Deep within Z, thoughts swell. To Palin Long, I must seem utterly naive, barely stepped into noble society and already putting on airs. Honestly, what is so funny? Or perhaps to her, I am merely a foolish girl who lowered her pride out of curiosity about a scandalized outcast. Palin Long acts intensely shy. No, no, it is simply because the little lady is so adorable. You yourself do not look much older than I. As soon as the words leave her mouth, Z quickly replies, goodness, even so, I am not too young to hold a man in my arms. What do you use to keep your skin so soft? To her, I must look like a young girl, obsessed solely with beauty and fashion. No matter how much commoners apply their usual products, they can never rival the fine items of the nobility. My cosmetics are never enough. Out of noble pride, I cannot ask directly, so I only listen halfway to seem less desperate. Hearing this, Palin answers without hesitation. They are just shop products, so I do not remember precisely, but if you are so curious, please pay a visit sometime. Z finds it somewhat confusing. Why must I go to a place meant for men? Palin replies. If it is my lady, women will flock there, leaving the men behind, starting with me. These words give Z goosebumps all over. Meanwhile, Palin Long merely smiles gently. Seeing this, Z closes her eyes. Her gaze catches me off guard, almost as if she is looking at an innocent kitten. Sometimes being underestimated makes things much easier to achieve. Suddenly, Palin Long speaks up unexpectedly. More importantly, you came to the park quite early today. I thought I should take a walk by the river to get some fresh air. When facing trouble, it is best to let things take their natural course. But the present does not always bring peace. They say dead fish float with the current, but it sounds as though you would rather swim upstream. Something like that. Then what about a river that can alter the path of fate? Z merely listens in silence. Palin holds up a playing card above the table. It signifies an invitation to the river. We shall see which card dares to resist this. Current, Z asks, are you wagering with questions and promises? Yes, but Palin Long gives an off-topic answer. We will use flower petals instead of chips. Plucking petals for each bet sounds troublesome. Then how about this? The loser pays the entire final pot at the end of each round. Z immediately realizes, normally one only loses the amount placed in the pot. Doing it that way is easier and far more dramatic. Z feels slightly anxious yet. That puts too much pressure on the player who folds. Palin adds, then we shall exclude any bet or raise made right before the fold from the total pot. Normally, that wouldn't be refunded. But I suppose this is a temporary rule since we have no chips. Each of us takes 3 colors. You can only pay with the petals you hold. If you think I am beautiful, you can give me extra. Did I ask if you would give me extra? I like pink the most, so once I lose my colored petals, I cannot get them back. The goal is simply to take the opponent's petals instead. For every 10 points you take from your opponent, you earn the right to ask 1 question, and those questions and answers are valid only within our 10 rounds. A free raise from 1 to 3 pots, limited to 1 raise per betting round. So if I win a round, I can ask 1 or 2 questions. 90 points will earn a favor, and 130 points will earn a promise. Z wonders what the difference between a favor and a promise is. A favor is, shall we say, a promise with conditions and limitations. Z's face darkens in thought. She merely replaces chips with petals and adjusts the pot calculation rules. There are no other traps that I can see. As for the cards, I shall deal the first hand myself and inspect them, she asks. However, this seems like a losing game for me. So what do I gain in this courtesan match? Oh, do not be so sure there is nothing to gain. Who knows, perhaps I will be the one granting your wish, young lady. Without stakes, it is merely shuffling cards. Fair words, especially coming from someone who is all talk. If you are dissatisfied, you do not have to play. However, if you do not wish to surrender anything, then it is simply a matter of not losing, so will you play? Z sneers inwardly. Her provocations are utterly shameless. Nevertheless, I have already made my decision. At the showdown of the 7th round, Palin Long gently sets her cards down. On the table, a high pair. This round belongs to you, young lady. Then I shall ask a question. Among all the courtesans, why do you think young Master Vest chose you? In the past, young nobles famous for their debauchery would cause a stir by bringing their courtesans even to public events. The reason they parade a woman who is not their legal wife is to show that she is distinct, that she exists not merely to satisfy physical pleasure, nor is she a vulgar courtesan, but a companion who shares a soulful bond. That is why a courtesan publicly kept by one's side must be a celebrated courtesan of high society or possess enough charm and poise to match his standing. Otherwise, she makes a laughingstock of her patron. After a moment, Palin Long bows her head slightly and replies, "The reason young master chose me. May I interpret that as the reason my patrons come to me? Not many people can truly see through someone's heart, but I can. I see what people try to hide and what silently gnaws at them. People wish to hide themselves, yet they also yearn to be seen and to accept that contradiction. Perhaps that is why my patrons choose me." Z frowns slightly. If we call the desire to conceal something a secret, then how do you uncover that secret? And how do you accept that contradiction? Palin remains composed. I can sense people's secrets even when they do not tell me directly. Some reveal them by speaking too much and others by saying too little. A secret does not simply end with being hidden. What matters is the way one hides it. The expression on Z's face turns slightly dazed. So if I do not even know what the secret is she telling me to start from the way it is hidden? Accepting the contradiction means not trying to define everything perfectly. It is simply about witnessing it alongside them. The deeper she digs, the vaguer it becomes. Suddenly, Z seems to lose her patience and asks, "So in the end, have you decided not to ask a question?" Palin continues to tease, "Is that a question?" Z replies with utmost coldness, "No." Then she glances at her fingers dusted with white pollen. Opposite her, Palin Long shows goodwill. "If you dislike getting pollen on yourself, shall I pluck all the petals off? My arms are long, you see." Z says sternly, "Do as you please." Palin hands her a generous pile of petals. In the 9th round, both of them are still sitting together, playing cards. On one side rests a saucer containing blue petals, and on the other yellow ones. Z ponders, "Did I bet too heavily at the flop? I should have stopped at 23 pots. I fold. With this hand, we are tied at 85 points each. In any case, both of us are just one favor away," Palin says, laying her cards down on the table. "Shall we begin the final round?" Z thinks to herself, "I have a strong hand, but suddenly Palin Long says, I shall raise to north. Young lady, forgive me for disappointing you, but I fold. Folding right at the start means that according to our additional rule, I pay both starting stakes of 3 pots. That will end the game. It may seem cowardly to retreat right now, but for someone who started the match so bravely, she has never beaten me even once. There is no point in risking everything for someone who cannot help me anyway. Palin displays a look of boredom, really ending it in such an anticlimactic way. Z inwardly realizes. She seems disappointed because it ends too quickly. Yes, I shall pay 3 pots and end it here. It is a pity she collected all those points without asking a single question. But I have never been a fair player. Palin immediately stops her. No, you cannot do that. Young lady, do not cling so tightly to the rules you created yourself. That is because we are following the rules. What do you mean? Now I need to take back the petals you lost in the previous round. Young lady, you have no 1-pot petals left. Do you have any 1-pot yellow petals to pay 3? Hearing this, Z's eyes widen in disbelief. Wait, the pot bets from the round that Palin Long won? She won while exhausting all her 1-PT yellow petals. But is it really possible to intentionally control the final value of the bet? Like that? Or perhaps she deliberately lost the rounds where she could not shape the stakes to her liking. Surely it must be a coincidence, right? Truthfully, in a courtesan's game, one only needs to probe first and retreat when the tide turns against them. But if she arranged it so I could not retreat. Before the final round, as she listens to her opponent speak, Z recalls the rules that were set. We agreed on the rules, didn't we? So what about this rule? The loser pays the total final bet of each round. You must pay at the end of every round. Each of us takes 3 colors, and you can only pay with the petals you currently hold. You can only pay with what you have in hand. A moment later, Z reproaches herself. I focus too much on the color rule without considering how many petals we actually possess. At this, Z laughs and says, I see. Perhaps it is because the nobility always has plenty of stakes to spare. They never consider what happens when they cannot pay. Palin mocks, well, if you are so desperate to fold, you can always give me a 5-pot orange petal instead. Z's face darkens as she thinks. If I give her 5, Palin's total will rise from 85 to 90, granting her the right to a favor, a conditional promise. Then suddenly, Palin Long asks unexpectedly, will you still fold? Meanwhile, Z remains lost in thought. My total is also 85. Just like hers, the favor is at stake. Palin Long's voice rings out once more. Or will you continue playing? Z responds coldly, truly. Then for the final round, we bet everything. I do not know at what point I walked into her trap, but I do not think this is the right moment to fold. In truth, I underestimated Palin slightly. The skin beneath her makeup is smooth enough to look quite young, and I could not detect any sharpness in her eyes even when clouded by ambition. Palin, it is best that you step down. I mistakenly believed that if someone of nobility lowered herself to engage, she would be touched and easily reveal information. There are times when standing still means giving up even more. Here Palin Long smiles and says, you seem fiercely determined to put on a strong front before me, young lady. The moment those words fall, Z responds without hesitation. Above all, recalling my past experience surviving high society, I once thought I could easily exploit a courtesan of this level. I truly hold a strong hand, betting 3 coins, but Palin is no ordinary creature among courtesans. At this, Palin lowers her voice. You seem eager to believe you hold the upper hand, young lady, but blind conviction sometimes clouds one's vision. They think I am merely a young lady who has never experienced social conflict, and that they can easily see through my thoughts. Thus they lower their guard, believing they comprehend everything. I call 6 coins. Hearing this, Palin immediately calls. Now comes the turn, the moment the 4th card is revealed in Texas Hold'em, a game where the victor is the one holding the strongest 5-card combination made from community cards and whole cards, or where you force your opponent to fold by convincing them their hand is weaker. I start with a pair of queens in hand. If the turn card matches the 9, 10, or king already on the board, my hand becomes 2 pair. But if the turn is another queen, I will have 3 of a kind. If the turn card is a jack, I can target a straight. At this moment, Z holds her cards, mocking inwardly. Arrogance is often the seed of failure. Is what you know right now truly the truth, or merely an illusion woven by your own faith? Z's eyes betray a contemplative gaze. At least securing 2 pair is something to desire. On the table, Palin does not hesitate to attack. The jack here is nearly The strongest hand in a heads-up duel. Z maintains her composure. You certainly talk too much, Palin. Perhaps you are growing desperate. I am beginning to get bored, so hurry up. I bet 3 coins. Palin smiles once again. You are truly cold, young lady. The longer victory is drawn out, the sweeter its taste becomes. I raise to 6 coins. Z quickly replies, call. The accumulated total bet reaches 34 coins. The winner's score will increase from 85 to 119. Memories flood back. Palin Long once set the rule that 90 equals a favor and 130 equals a promise. Z ponders calmly. With just 11 more pots, the winner will reach 130. By combining my whole cards with the community cards, I have completed a straight from 9 to king. The hands Palin might hold to beat me and which I'm currently wary of are the Broadway straight with a queen and an ace to make the highest straight. A 9 to king straight is lower than a 10 to ace. Or a flush, if she holds 2 hearts to make a flush or straight flush. Although the statistical probability is extremely low, if she holds a 9 and a queen, it would form a straight flush from 9 to king, and finally there is no need to think that far ahead. It is impractical anyway, though I am slightly concerned that Palin Long might hold 2 hearts, given that 3 hearts are already on the board. My 9 to king straight manifested purely through a minuscule chance, so there is no way a flush could appear by such unfortunate luck. Besides, I cannot be certain since the ace has yet to appear, but I hold 2 queens, so does Palin Long truly hold a queen? In short, she speaks up, no matter how much you say, I cannot imagine myself being swayed by such words. But young lady, are the words of a lowly person truly what shakes you? Or have the doubts already lurking in your heart simply been brought to light? Z lets out a cold hum. I have grasped your pattern. You constantly probe your opponent with vague, suggestive words. Probing. I merely reflect what others conceal in their hearts like a mirror of truth. If it is fear, then that emotion was already dwelling within your heart, young lady. Z thinks to herself, what gives her such calm confidence? Even if you pretend to understand everything, there are still things you absolutely cannot control. At this moment, Palin suddenly lowers her head. Is that truly so? These words cause Z to freeze slightly, while Palin remains entirely calm. The only unshakable truth is that the queen and the hearts always stand on my side. The river card is revealed. Queen, 9-10 JQK, a straight flush, a straight matching. My hand exactly has just appeared among the community cards. My whole cards have been rendered completely useless. How absurd, a queen. She mentioned the queen and hearts. Did she cheat? No, there is no unusual feeling. Could she have moved so quickly that I failed to notice? Suddenly a voice awakens Z. What are you doing? Making her widen her eyes in shock. What? Palin smiles and reminds her it is now your turn to bet, young lady. Do you wish to continue calling this hand? Do you think I will sit idly by when the exact card you predicted just turned up? Ah, I merely mentioned queens and hearts. Are you implying that I tampered with the cards? Does it seem that way? My young lady, do you have any proof? You know it yourself, young lady. You inspected the cards earlier, and you were the one who shuffled them in the first round. Indeed, there are no suspicious signs like bent corners or any other trickery. Palin Long's voice and Z's thoughts interweave. 10 rounds, alternating shuffling and both dealing to ensure fairness. I always cut the deck differently, so it is exceedingly difficult to guess the cut location in every round. Neither of us places our hands below the glass table during the short shuffle. The cards are large, so if anyone tries to hide one, it shows immediately. At this moment, Palin Long explains, even if I perform a false shuffle or pre-shuffle, if I truly want to cheat, I am not foolish enough to set up a hand so suspicious that anyone can spot it. There are countless ways to execute it much more discreetly and perfectly. Z ponders. That is true. Precisely because it looks like cheating, it becomes even easier to make people believe it. Or perhaps she intentionally makes it look so unrealistic that it becomes plausible again. As I said, one can only say that the queen and the hearts stand by our side. Z lowers her face slightly, her expression darkening. Without uttering a single word, she stares intently at Palin Long, who still wears a suspiciously calm expression. Z observes the row of cards laid out on the table and notes the royal flush. Her eyes grow colder, convincing her that Palin Long is merely bluffing with a strong hand. Now it is all or nothing. so the obvious strategy is for both sides to feign strength to force the opponent to fold, regardless of whether their actual hand is weak or strong. I wonder if a low-class courtesan like Palin Laong possesses the standing to fulfill a promise to. Accounts, young lady, I am not merciful, so please do not lie. Fold your hand, you will not get another heart card. However, Palin Laong reaches over and taps the person beside her, urging, Wake up, you must act as a witness for this round. For no one believes the word of a courtesan claiming she made a promise to accounts, young lady. Raise 6 points, bringing the current pot to 43 with the winner's score at 128 pots. Now only 2 choices remain, call or fold. The past suddenly rushes back. The conversation between the two reemerges, the difference between a request and a promise. What is a promise? A request is a promise with conditional limits. Z falls into deep thought. If I call, the winner exceeds 130 pots and gains the right to demand a promise guaranteed by the young master. If I fold, I must fulfill Palin Laong's request. Her expression is unreadable. She even invites the young master to serve as a witness. Does that mean she is truly confident of victory? Is her ability to read cards so precise that she can eliminate every single possibility? Or did I fail to notice her cheating by swapping in the Queen of Hearts? Or did she intentionally orchestrate a dramatic round to push the score to 130 pots and force me to show my hand? If it is all a coincidence, does she really hold a heart? Does she truly have a stronger hand than mine? Fold. If I fold, see my opponent's cards. Regardless, Z decides to speak. I will fulfill your request, but show me your cards. Palin, what hand do you hold to gamble so recklessly? In the end, you hold nothing of value, only trash cards. She dares to counterattack with a hand like that. Meanwhile, Palin Laong merely smirks, standing against the entire flow. It does not simply mean resisting it, but rather harmonizing with its rhythm, reading its direction, and drifting along with the current. And when finding a gap to break through, accelerating at the precise moment to pull the stream toward oneself. Does this answer help you understand a little? Hearing this, Z reveals a look of disappointment. I only thought of fighting the flow, never considering making it my own. Speak, what is your request? My lady, do you know how lonely the life of a courtesan is? Gentlemen whisper words of love at night, but once they obtain what they desire, they discard my very existence without a trace of hesitation. I am so tired of being rejected. Therefore, my lady, my request is simple. For just one moment, please do not turn your back on me. Upon hearing this, Z stares directly at the woman before her, her eyes brightening. I do not feel bad about losing. I accept your request because of your boldness. Yes, Palin cannot hide her excitement. How wonderful. Meanwhile, Z loses herself once more in a stream of thoughts. Only after the round ends do I realize that he seems to have passed out again. Please convey my greetings to the young master of the Baizabo clan. Perhaps Palin, from the moment I sat down, intended to exploit my curiosity about her. At this moment, Palin tags along behind. If you wish to continue this secret conversation, come find me later. Just ask for Palin Laong. I am quite famous, so I am easy to find. Z asserts without hesitation. I will never come looking for you. Palin Laong speaks with a hint of reproach. That sounds almost like you are telling me to come find you. Instead, I do not wish to waste any more time. Do not follow me. Since merely answering my question offers no reward, she actively suggests playing a hand to both gain a chance at a repayment and maintain control over the game. Then I wish you a pleasant journey. Z reflects as she walks. Today's meeting is truly fascinating, drawing the opponent onto one's own playing field before they realize it, and then departing, leaving behind far more questions than answers. Ah, yes, that is precisely what I admire most, an aspect of the ideal persona that I wish to emulate. Palin pokes her fingertip against the other person's body. It is time to wake up. She is gone now. You no longer need to pretend. At this moment, Ziaudulu gently strokes his hair. I know, Palin asks. Are you satisfied now? Ziaudulu suddenly asks. You win on the river card. Did you swap the cards? You know it. My tricks are nowhere near as skillful as yours, master. You were just lucky. It is a wet board where either of you could hold any kind of strong hand. That is not strange at all. Even excluding the possibility of a full house or four of a kind, a flush or straight remains a better choice to probe the opponent's reaction. I said so because it makes more sense. Palin speaks calmly. The queen and the heart are always on my side. I tried to leave plenty of room for speculation, but out of all possible outcomes, the Queen of Hearts actually appears. Do I look cool, right? Yes, you did well, but I am still a bit pouted. Anyway, I would not dare swap cards in front of that young lady. Cover yourself up a bit. I think I now understand why you asked me to play against her. Z, the young lady of the Count's family, is as beautiful and dignified as the title attached to her name. Although only recently adopted into the Count's household, her poise and demeanor are far more noble than those born into luxury. Anyone looking at her might mistake her for having spent her entire life among the nobility. Ziadulu rests his chin on his hand and asks, "Is that so?" Palin speaks again, but what impresses me most is her composure. She shows no shame in losing. Others, upon losing, usually fly into a rage, throwing cards and shouting, "That wench cheated. She surely hid cards in her cheap dress. Do you think I would truly stoop to gamble with a lowlife?" Then they try to deny the result, using the excuse that one should not bet with inferiors. But Z is different, not entirely straightforward, but I think she possesses a gentle touch. A young lady from the South who arrived only a few days ago. Where did she learn poker? The way she swiftly points out errors in the variant rules from the start, and her strategy across 9 rounds showing that the one folding suffers too great a loss, proves Z is a seasoned player. Of course, it is no surprise she loses to Palin, who has roamed casinos for 10 years. Besides, what sensible noble gambles with a king merely for fun? She surely feigned falling into the trap of provocation and agreed to join the game only because she wants to learn about you or me. Perhaps she intends to probe the situation first and then end the game at a reasonable point. I fold. Because of that, I added rules regarding bet settlement times and chip colors, so she could not demand her wagers back. Bets must be paid after every round and only with existing chips. The raise limit per round is 1. If you bet maximum in the final round, it equals 46 points. Thus, to trap her between a favor and a promise, it must reach 85 points. I intentionally lost enough until the final round to set that number. She seems to accept my insolence from the start. Since she lacks proof, I push the limits further to test her, yet she never loses her cool. Even in suspicious situations, she lets her opponent finish speaking. And once convinced of the outcome, she utters no further complaints. In the end, she folds. Realizing she is defeated, she merely says, "Tell me what you want," accepting both the outcome and the responsibility that accompanies it. Then she departs, retaining her proud posture as before. Does she possess no remaining pride? She is so serene that I almost feel as though I am the actual loser. If the Queen card had not appeared on the river, perhaps the game would have dragged on to the very end. Throughout the game, I kept asking myself if my words swayed her at all. She remains as calm as an unruffled lake. Furthermore, for a girl underage to stay calm and respond to provocations with reason is truly admirable. Hearing this, Ziadulu tilts his head to look at Palin Long. She tries to appear older and more experienced than her real age, carrying the air of a true noble. When I kissed the back of her left hand during our first meeting, she took off her hat, as though a gentleman greeting another gentleman. A gentleman should kiss a lady's right hand with his right hand. And since a hat forms part of a lady's attire, unlike men, women should not remove their hats while outdoors. Thoughts swirl in Palin's mind. She could not possibly master all etiquette in a short time, yet the way she turns the situation around to respond to my flawed etiquette is exquisite. She is remarkably brave to maintain her composure despite being at a disadvantage. Just a little more time and experience, and she could become someone capable of shaking high society to its core. Do you also see something special in her? Master, as the words fall, Ziadulu merely remains silent without a word, cold sweat beads on Palin's face. But something feels strange. It is just my guess, but Z seems to be trying to mimic how I behave. He asks coldly, "Why do you think so?" Not only in her words, but also in her demeanor. She seems to copy my tone and posture, with eyes that seem to yearn for something. That is why you did not refuse her invitation to sit together. I am not sure either. I tried to drop hints for her to meet again, but she never accepted. Of course, this city is full of experienced people who are wary of others, put simply, even if she might be briefly captivated by a brief encounter with you, your value is not high enough to make her lose face over you, so she can depart without regret. You are truly a master. Palin falls into quiet contemplation. I am merely a little disappointed that after all this time apart, you come to me only to ask for a game against some young lady. No matter. Among countless women used as tools, I am the only one whose head you stroke, for a very long time now. It is always me. The child's voice and the chilling tone intertwine. Please save me, shut your mouth, blame your parents who sold you to pay off their gambling debts. The streets remain as bustling as ever. A strong stench of fish hangs in the air amidst the clamor of buyers and sellers. Please, someone save me. I am dragged away slowly. I cannot remember if no one sees or if everyone turns their backs after looking. Young Palin asks innocently, what will happen to me? Curious. You will know when we reach the shop. An 11-year-old girl, please don't. An adult touches Palin's face to see if she is worth anything. However, a knife stabs from behind, and that man instantly collapses to the ground. At this moment, Palin's eyes stare intently at the person in front of her. The only thing I want to remember is those eyes brighter than the sun, standing amidst crashing waves, looking straight at me. After a moment, Ziadulu speaks in a deep voice, do you want to come with me? And I know that gaze does not pass me by. In the place where I am taken, I learn all sorts of strange things alongside other children. In my free time, I often sit and watch the adults gamble, sometimes running errands to bring them things. Our savior, we call him Master. One day, for some reason, I gather all my courage to offer advice while the adults play cards. Not out of bravery, but out of a desperate desire to become someone special to Master. He asks curiously, are you arranging the card combinations with the highest win rate? She replies with a hint of hesitation. Yes, I might be wrong, but I calculated it for every position. After observing for a while, Ziadulu suddenly asks, what is your name? She blushes, smiles, and answers, Palin, a clever little girl. From that day on, Master lets me stay by his side, entrusting me with bookkeeping and organizing tasks. The work increases day by day, and eventually I even have my own room and accompany Master outside. Looking back at that period, it feels suffocatingly hot. Holding someone's hand, an old woman sobs and pleads, please pray for us. Every day I pull corpses from the seashore. In other words, that sea monster has surely taken my son's life. Father, please pray to God to give us the strength to kill Leviathan. I can even guess how people address each other outside. Ziadulu offers softly, hey kids, wake up. Your families will definitely return. I will pray for everyone. On that day, the Lord will use his fierce sword to strike Leviathan, punishing that slippery serpent, Leviathan, and destroying the monster lurking beneath the sea. That evening, while everyone continues their journey, someone suddenly complains, damn it, I cannot pretend to be an alchemist anymore. Those people only focus on groping corpses. If they do it, at least pick female corpses. Is there no dignity left? Hearing them speak, the assistant immediately stops his horse, turns around, and warns, you best watch your mouth. Master does not give anyone a second chance. Tusk, I really think I do not want to take orders from a kid who is not even 30. Seeing this, Palin breaks into a cold sweat, thinking to herself, the tension is too thick. I shouldn't cause trouble, but whenever I open my mouth, I speak slower than others. Suddenly, her horse slips, making her scream in shock. Ah! Afterwards, she explains sheepishly, Master, I am sorry. My words feel as if they are swallowed. Ziadulu reminds her in a low voice, when walking on sand dunes, take short steps. Ah, hold the reins for me a moment. It begins. The fireworks on the way back should be familiar, yet every time I look at them, they feel brand new. Perhaps it is because I can never decipher what Master is thinking at those moments. I do not believe in God. Time slips away quietly, and soon it is the next morning. Palin whispers softly, I love you, Master. Every time you gently touch me with a gaze reserved only for me, even though I know those who oppose you wash ashore as lifeless corpses, I am not afraid. Gently rubbing Palin's head, Ziadulu declares, from now on, become a bait and entertain guests. Hearing this, she asks in confusion, is there something wrong with my ledger, Master? No. From now on, Derek will handle it, she hastily asserts. I am much faster and more accurate than Derek. Palin, by the seashore, there is something for you. It is unlike anything you have done before. All you need to do is groom your beauty and enjoy the favor of men. Upon seeing the surprise Ziadulu has prepared for her, Palin gasps in sheer shock at a corpse. In other words, I need you, Palin. Without those 3 words, I would have bitten my tongue and died long ago. Every time I swim a bit further out of the mud, he gains more information and wealth. If I keep going like this, the day will surely come when I hear him say it again. I love you, because I am special to him, because that gaze in his eyes is something only I understand. Ziadulu suddenly assigns a mission. Palin, approach Lady Divinal, she responds without the slightest hesitation. Yes, Master, please trust me and wait for me, my beautiful and ruthless monster. At this point, she suddenly pauses for a moment, then calmly assures him, Leviathan, in order to serve your goal, I will turn Divinal into a perfect playing card for you. Right now in Z's room, Molly respectfully reports, "My lady, I just learned that the trainer took sick leave and will return tomorrow." She asks in surprise, "Tomorrow? How long does it take to call a replacement right within?" The manor, even within the manor, it takes at least 4 hours. Hearing this, she suggests in a low voice, "Forget it then. What is Luona doing?" Molly answers immediately, "She just went out a moment ago and is now drinking tea in the greenhouse." "All right, you may go." She continues in her mind, "I can imagine on this day I will belong to Sir Hayboat." Stretching out both arms, Z murmurs with a sigh, "Of all days, why take sick leave today? With only one day left before Marchioness Lavalier arrives, today is my only chance to practice falconry, yet the main trainer is absent. Falcons are the most sensitive and difficult to tame, pure wild instinct. Controlling that wilderness on one's hand is a symbol of power, put simply. Falconry is a classic pastime of the nobility, while young masters actively hunt young ladies. Participate by letting the falcon perch on their arm before releasing it to fly. The significance of the display remains the same. Our family is wealthy enough to keep falcons, and noble and refined enough to handle them with grace. This is where such people gather to socialize. A few curious nobles gather together and whisper among themselves. "Did you see that young master earlier, attending with his long hair flying loose like that?" In the end, his hair got tangled right in the falcon's wings. "Stop it, wasting breath on those commoners is a waste of time. I thought he would cause a bigger scene today. I have no desire to talk to anyone. She rejects so quickly. You are the third person to try striking up a conversation with me today." Then she inwardly continues, "Without even looking at their family tree, I already know they are all small. Fry's trying to cling to the Count's family through me." Z calmly responds, "They call me a venomous snake and give me such a name. Shouldn't I live up to it? Shouldn't I trip them up a little just out of spite?" Reaching her hand up high, she thinks somberly, "Back then, I practiced falconry as if my life depended on it. That was out of spite, but now my goal has changed. Most of the nobles who gather at the hunting grounds later become powerful figures in the empire. If I want to gather forces to confront Luona, these fixed falconry hunting sessions are the best venue. The falcon I used to train must still be around. Building trust is crucial in training, so I really want at least one session with the trainer. But given this situation, I suppose I must practice alone. I don't want to draw too much attention. Where should I practice now? Somewhere with enough space for the bird to fly while remaining discreet. Ah, but that fountain garden over there did not have glass walls before. What happened? Right now I remember. Why were those glass panels removed? That fateful love story that keeps getting repeated. When Luona went to buy a welcome gift for Marchioness Lavalier, pointing at a brooch, Luona requested, "I will take this one separately." She even bought an expensive brooch for Sir Hayboat, yet she was too shy to invite him herself. Looking at the brooch on the table, Luona voiced her wish. "I want to give this to him and ask him to be my escort knight." At that moment, Ziluo secretly called Sir Hayboat over for Luona. And right at that moment, the old chandelier in the garden fell and Sir Hayboat appeared. Like a prince to rescue her, the man worriedly expressed that if the knight had not arrived in time, she would have been severely injured, truly a miracle. Luona softly closed her eyes in gratitude. "Ziluo, thank you so much." Thanks to that incident, Ziluo's status rose significantly. I also learned about Sir Hayboat through that story. It feels like a long time ago, but now it has nothing to do with me anymore. Wait, the welcome gift for Marchioness Lavalier. Ziluo is no longer here. Then who will go call Sir Hayboat? Just thinking of this, Z suddenly snaps to reality. She hastily rushes outside and calls out loudly, "Molly, call Sir Hayboat to the greenhouse garden immediately." Then as she runs, she cannot help worrying. No matter what, this is not what I want. Will Luona die just because my actions changed? No, no. Running up and catching sight of Luona on the verge of peril, Z's heart tightens. Without a second thought, she instantly lunges forward, pulling her down with force, as if missing a single beat would render everything beyond repair. Molly runs over, and seeing this scene, she screams in panic. "Oh my goodness, my lady, are you all right?" Hayboat asks in concern, "Are you hurt anywhere?" Lady Z does not answer them, instead urgently checking on Luona first. "Are you all right?" Sweating with wide eyes, Luona cries out, "Sister, you were truly amazing just now." Z secretly thinks, "Even if she must die, it must be by my own hands." Suddenly, she pauses. "Z, what's wrong?" "No, it's just that your expression looked a bit frightening earlier. That can't be, I must have missing." "Surely you did." Hayboat rushes over and asks, "My ladies, are you all right?" Z secretly feels suspicious. His appearance at this exact moment is strangely suspicious. Molly says out of breath, "I will call the doctor right away. Let me fetch more servants to help. We must carry you." Z inwardly says, "Fine, bring more people so this good deed spreads further." Did you hear? The new young lady threw herself in harm's way to save young lady Luona. Heavens, did the gods send that young lady as a new family member to create such a miracle? Z knows it would be great to turn public opinion in the manner to her favor, but she prefers things to stay quiet. She calls Molly. "Marchioness Lavalier arrives tomorrow. Do you really want to make a scene?" She hesitates. "Yes, but only inform the butler. We will settle the scene first, and when the Count returns home, report it to him then." Molly asks, "Is it really all right to handle such a big matter like this? Are you truly unhurt?" "Yes, keep this matter quiet for me. The fewer people who know, the better." Z helps Luona up. "Come, can you stand? Sir Hayboat, please support Luona, take her to her personal servants and call a doctor to examine her. Lady Z should also be examined. After speaking with the butler, I will go to the infirmary with Molly. Z, aren't you coming with us? I need to deal with the broken debris in the garden first." Z kisses her cheek. "Luona, are you all right? You must be strong." "Yes, I will take good care of my health." Z thinks in exasperation. Seriously, what is there to smile so joyfully about? Looking at her makes me want to shatter that face. "Then I trouble you to take care of Luona for me." Hayboat glances at her while helping young lady Luona up, thinking, "How strange. She is hardly injured at all. If so, the one who took the full impact was." He notices Z's scraped hands and heels. "I keep feeling as though I am making foolish decisions." On this side, Z feels secretly pleased. Having Hayboat as the sole witness is enough. This glass greenhouse is a reward and a blessing bestowed by the royal family upon Count Bizabeau's family to acknowledge their meritorious service in the extraordinarily successful seaport project. Yet now, if news broke out that this symbol of friendship with the royal family suffered damage, Count Bizabeau would surely wish to conceal it at all costs. In her previous life, however, because someone foolishly boasted about their rescue everywhere, rumors spread far and wide beyond control. Ultimately, the royal family was furious over such negligent management and even ordered the glass walls to be dismantled. At this moment, the butler approaches and says, "My lady, thank goodness you are unhurt. I am truly terribly sorry. I do not know how to make amends for subjecting you to such an awful ordeal." Z thinks to herself, "In the past, although the Count treated me well materially due to my limited manners and education, he never helped me secure a proper standing in the manor." Here she replies gracefully, "It is fine. I have only informed you, the butler. Is that acceptable? Since a distinguished guest is visiting soon, I do not wish to disturb too many people. Furthermore, this garden is a place where no brokenness is permitted, correct?" The butler replies, "Yes, that is correct." He secretly thinks, in this situation, it would be entirely justified for her to be furious over poor management. Yet she prioritizes saving face for the Count's house and settles things so smoothly. "I owe young lady a debt of gratitude." Thinking this, he says, "Since you are so understanding, I will quickly settle everything this afternoon. Does my lady need anything else?" She hesitates. "Then, may I take a walk in the garden alone tonight?" As the head butler, he surely understands the deep meaning behind the word alone. Seeing that he only posts guards around the garden's outer perimeter, he will certainly keep this matter quiet. She gazes at the serene moonlight reflecting off the remaining glass panels, feeling a soft chill in the air. Every step she takes feels deliberate, as if reclaiming the narrative she once lost. Her heart beats steadily, untroubled by the turmoil that brews beneath the manor's gilded exterior. She smiles gently to herself, knowing every piece is moving according to her plan. The shadows stretch across the fountain, whispering secrets of power, betrayal, and romance. She breathes in the quiet night, fully prepared for the arrival of Marchioness Lavalier. Nothing will tear down her resolve this time. Her eyes gleam like bright pearls in the dimly lit garden. She steps closer to the edge, looking out into the distant night skyline. The game of intrigue continues, and she stands victorious in this round. With grace and elegance, she returns inside before the dawn breaks. The morning sun casts soft golden rays across the grand manor. Servants bustle silently, unaware of the dramatic shift in authority. Molly approaches with fresh tea, offering a respectful bow. Everything is prepared for today's welcome, my lady. Z takes a gentle sip, her expression serene and composed. Very good, let us greet our noble guest with absolute perfection. She sets down the cup, ready to face whatever trials come next. For in this life, she refuses to remain a mere pawn in anyone's game. Is taking place inside. Marchioness Lavalier, it has been a long time. In the past, she was also extremely displeased upon hearing that the garden was destroyed. To be exact, she is irritated. Because that rumor leaked outside. Furthermore, she dislikes my participation in falconry, so it is best to handle this matter as discreetly as possible. She asks the bird perched on her arm, Kiki, do you not remember me? Even though in this life we meet for the first time, does not a trace of your animal instinct remain? Word of her good deed in saving Luona will surely spread sooner or later, so it will not be too late to gain favor then. However, the ankle injured while saving her is the real problem. Suddenly, a sharp pain throbs in her leg, making her stumble with a gasp. Ah, this sudden movement causes the bird's leash to yank down, and it suddenly dives straight toward her. Oh no, does it mistake this as a signal to land? The falling speed is too fast, impact is imminent, but right at this moment, Hayboat appears and shields her. Are you hurt anywhere, young Lady Z? She freezes, feeling as if she cannot breathe. As if understanding Z, Hayboat quickly pats her back gently. Breathe, take your time and breathe. After a long pause, Z finally speaks. Thank you, I am not injured, but why are you here? I received orders to take over security for the inner area starting from 10 o'clock. She thinks to herself that because he is an involved party who witnessed the accident, they arranged for him to enter inside. She then asks, was the schedule not changed to 9:30? It seems the information passed through intermediaries was not communicated accurately. Suddenly her expression turns to shock. His arm is bleeding, the talons seemingly puncturing through his sleeve. It is nothing, he says. She thinks apologetically. Oh no, this injury is because of me? How is it nothing when it is bleeding like this? Sir Hayboat, I am so sorry. Because I suddenly came out alone at midnight to practice, you got hurt. She sighs inwardly with despair. How terrible to cause trouble for the one person she never wants to burden again. Young lady, I am fine. She wonders to herself, if rumors spread that I injured Sir Hayboat, how will I handle it? She imagines being criticized by everyone, that troublemaker finally hurt someone else. And to think she dared target Sir Hayboat, the representative knight of the Count's family. Once again, she says, I am sorry, I do not know how to properly make it up to you. Young lady, please do not apologize. My purpose in being here is to take the injury in your place, so long as you are safe and sound. Consider today as if it never happened, and above all, I am truly fine right now. She lowers her face, reflecting silently. How ridiculous that even with someone I once liked, I still calculate gains and losses. You worked hard. Hayboat sighs softly. It is fine now. But tomorrow I might not be able to wake up at all. His words plunge the atmosphere into silence. She asks herself, could it be that he is joking? That does not sound like him at all. Suddenly she bursts out laughing. Haha, that is not funny at all, not even a bit. Hayboat turns his face away. As expected, I have no talent in this area. Haha, I brought medical supplies just in case. It is probably best to treat your wound now. Yes, then. I shall trouble you, young lady. She looks at the fountain and asks, did you cross through the fountain to get here? Yes, because if I turned back, I feared I would be too late. I will be careful not to soil your dress, young lady. The dress is fine, but I worry the soaked leather boots will make it difficult for you to walk. Actually, even if wet, they are still lighter than the armor I wear. She asks with concern, is the armor you wear daily very heavy? I am used to it so. It does not feel heavy. It gets a bit hot in summer, but dressing properly is part of my duty. She thinks to herself that Sir Hayboat's armor looks less like training gear and more like symbolic ceremonial attire meant to affirm the prosperity of the Baizibo clan. Just the fact that the family possesses a war hero like Justin Hayboat is enough to elevate their reputation. Although a tiger sire begets a tiger son, nobody expected that at just 16 years old he would surpass even his genius father, FDN Hayboat. It likely began with the raid on the Salat Manor. Back then, he was not even an adult, yet people already called him a hero. His fame reached all the way to the imperial capital, so much so that the royal guard invited him to hold an important position. Yet Justin Hayboat politely declined. The reason he refused such honor was that Baron Hayboat's family had served Count Bizabeau's family for generations. To be honest, she cannot understand it. Even if it is tradition, how can a count compare to the imperial family? But what did Sir Hayboat say back then? Sir Mikar is already at the Empire's front line, so I will stay to fulfill my long-standing promise. Because he upheld such devoted loyalty to his master, Sir Hayboat is known as the Sound Knight. He is truly stubborn to the point of foolishness, yet that is precisely why she liked him. Suddenly, Hayboat interrupts her train of thought. May I ask the young lady something? Why did you call me to this garden this afternoon? She thinks to herself Molly had asked a similar question. Why were you in such a hurry to go out to the garden as if predicting the future? She then replies to Hayboat. Well, yesterday Luona invited me for afternoon tea, saying she wanted to buy a present for Sir Hayboat. Z, do you want to go see the sky lanterns with me tomorrow? I really want to go, but let me check my schedule and let you know. But because I had a fever, I could not go out with her. After taking a short nap, I thought she must still be having tea at this hour, so I took the liberty of calling you to the garden. She adds silently in her heart that except for the invitation being true, the rest are lies, though she is not too worried about the secret being exposed. She continues, actually, I only spoke up to repay your life-saving favor, but thinking back, sharing secrets like this makes me feel quite guilty, so please keep this between the two of us. She knows full well that if he makes a promise, he will never break it. Hayboat replies, yes, if that is an order. Z stands up while thinking, perhaps it is time to get up. Suddenly, Hayboat asks, has your fever broken, young lady? Pardon? Because I heard. You had a fever, she is surprised inwardly. I thought he would care about the gift Luona couldn't give him. It is fine now. He reaches out his hand, but you still look feverish, young lady, and gently touches her forehead. Please forgive my presumption. Z stands dazed, feeling as if she is in a dream, meeting by chance and conversing like this, and the fact that he no longer avoids my eyes, perhaps because that warmth is so comforting. Making me happy to the bottom of my heart, I feel angry instead. Please do not do this. Why do you display this side of yourself only after returning? In the past, was not your gaze always fixed solely on that child? Young Lady Luona is the only one I serve. Every time she sees me, she sheds tears. Therefore, I hope we will not have to meet again over matters like this. Please, stop causing trouble for young Lady Luona. My self-esteem has been wounded countless times. I do not need this kind of kindness, so do not use that half-hearted pity to sway me. Perhaps I crossed the line. You have always been soft-hearted toward those who look pitiable, haven't you? Right at this moment, Hayboat removes his hand from her forehead. I apologize, young lady, she tells herself inwardly. It is not like that, do not apologize. Seeing you apologize like this makes me hate you even more. She takes a step forward. Then I shall take my leave. Yet the truly pitiful one is me, the one who lets her heart plunge simply over pity extended to someone like me. Suddenly Hayboat says, young lady, I have taken on the duty of guarding the manor's inner grounds every Friday evening. If you have anything to send or request regarding lower positions, please feel free to inform me. When she returns, she goes to find her mother. My precious child, can you not sleep, coming to see your mother in the middle of the night? I just wanted to see you, mother. We see each other every day, and yet you still miss me. Yes, it is strange. It feels as if I have just returned from an endlessly long journey, so even looking at you right here, I still feel an overwhelming yearning. You really are something, sometimes acting so grown up, looking just like the mistress of a noble house. Wipe the windows clean, do not leave a single speck of dust, she orders the servant with a tilt of her chin. She thinks to herself that Maid's temporary retreat due to her will make it easier to establish discipline as the mistress from the very start. The question is, how long can her authority last? Her mother says anxiously, in front of your aunt, I do not know if you can do well, so I am a bit worried. To tell the truth, mother is so scared she wants to run away. Suddenly Z stands straight up. This is no good, pack the luggage, we are running away tonight. Her action makes her mother laugh. Well, thinking back, we do have experience with running away in the night, don't we? She reassures her, if anything happens, we will just run, so do not feel inferior, mother. I will remember those words, and when the time comes that we truly cannot bear it, we must flee together. As one. Why state the obvious? She turns serious. Promise me right now That we will definitely go together, just like. That time. The next morning, 3 hours before the Marchioness arrives, Molly exclaims, "Oh dear, did I pull it too tight? Should I loosen the corset a bit?" Z replies, "No, tighten it as much as possible. Young lady, you have not eaten anything prepared for you. Are you not hungry? Clear everything away, leave only the coffee." She thinks internally, how could I possibly have an appetite? The pressure of Marchioness Lavalier coming to the castle weighs heavily upon her every breath. She still vividly remembers her words back when she struggled with corn soup in the past. Eat a piece of cheese whenever you feel like passing out. She is naturally a harsh woman who will never care about this swollen ankle. Memories of her past life rush back. High heels are mandatory, so flat shoes cannot serve as an excuse to decline. I told you this is an extremely important task. But back then I was truly too busy. This time, because of practicing for the ball, I could not complete the assignment, and I even had to learn the harpsichord. Time was far too short. Once excuses begin, there is no stopping them. Life is naturally heavy for anyone. It is a continuous series of struggles with situations one is never prepared for. You say time was short this time? Some days the body falls ill, some days the weather suddenly turns bad, and other days one must spend time attending weddings or funerals. Helpless situations like these will always happen as long as one lives, and only by facing them do people gradually recognize you as a part of society. I am trying to. If I cannot do it with my willpower alone, what am I supposed to do? If your willpower is insufficient, even if you must borrow the willpower of others, you must get it done. Indeed, those are detestably true words. I saved your cheap life, so at least you must strive to follow me. Learn to respect the person trying to reshape who you are. Respect. Sounds nice, but... Listen, if you truly want to reform someone, please fix that damned look in your eyes first. Quickly change that gaze that views others like insects. If you are so inadequate as to fall behind others, at least maintain a humble attitude to learn. Instead, your mind only knows how to chase after men. Do you have any idea how much I sacrificed? For you, or did your mother only teach you how to seduce men into bed? She bites her lip in fury shut. Your mouth, you crazy woman. What? Do you know how my mother lived for my sake? Why is your younger brother just an innocent man seduced by a fox, while my mother is seen as a woman who sells her body? You bastard, you do not have a shred of respect for other women. And yet you want to be a mother? How laughable. I will definitely see with my own eyes that conceited face of yours twist in humiliation. Just seeing that, I will probably laugh triumphantly for a whole week. Because of that, even the baby died out of sheer terror of its mother. She is an emotionless woman, cold as a wooden log. Word has it the child she barely conceived miscarried back in the Middle Empire. Clearly, that body is not even equal to a doll. She screamed, "Give me stone," her face distorted. Miserably, I laughed heartily just as I had promised. Myself, yet not at all, there is no joy in it whatsoever. At this point, Molly calls out, "Young lady, are you all right? Your eyes are red." Z snaps out of her memories. "All right then, go fetch my dress." Ever since that day, Marchioness Lavalier severed all ties with the Count's family. Until the moment her adoptive father passed away, she never sent a single reply. Yet now, merely to appease that person, I must exert so much effort to dress up. She lets out a hollow laugh. Ha ha, what a cruel twist of fate. Ah, thinking of the upcoming contempt and humiliation, an indescribable sense of indignation rises within me. Can one submit without losing one's self-respect? Standing on the thin line between pride and submission is truly a daunting trial. The servant's voice echoes, "Young lady, let me help you prepare your attire." She replies, "Very well, young lady. We are waiting on the first floor to receive you. Please go ahead, young lady, and we will follow to assist." She thinks that this seems to be the second day since the suspension of the head maid was lifted, indeed, as expected of people connected to that old woman. Their northern accent is so thick. Seeing the hostility gradually emerging in their eyes, it seems Maid's henchmen are also starting to act aggressive. She walks past the two servants and commands, "Let us go." The two of them whisper upon seeing her outfit, "Why is she dressed like that? She looks as if she is preparing to go study at Academy. To welcome distinguished guests, one ought to dress extravagantly like young Lady Luona. She truly lacks all sense of propriety, and always falls short, even her quickest stride today. Looks clumsier than usual, doesn't it? I wonder how utterly humiliated that fool will be when the Marchioness Arrives. Suddenly, Z stops right beside a hand-shaped decorative ornament on the table, startling the two gossips. Z sweeps her hand and knocks it to the floor. They gasp in shock. Young lady, she says nonchalantly. My hand slipped, do you know where I come from? They reply in trembling voices. Ah, yes, we hear that young lady comes from the south. Indeed, do you think I do not understand simply because you speak in northern dialect? Fools. What? How does she know the northern tongue? Young lady, I am sorry. Her expression darkens with a threat. I do not wish to hear another word from chatterboxes like you. If I catch you again, I will cut out your tongues on the spot. With that, she walks away. In truth, she thinks to herself, she does not fully grasp their exact words. But curses are something she heard every day in her past life, so she knows them by heart. It is natural not to understand servants from other regions in such a vast empire. Still, with that insolent whispering attitude, their intent is hardly difficult to guess, trembling after a mere question, yet they dare gather to speak behind my back. Speaking of which, Mother repeatedly ordered the removal of all decorations symbolizing children. Whether they failed to clear them or intentionally brought them back, it is likely the work of head-made mage. If so, those eyesores deserve to be shattered anyway. Suddenly, a figure approaches as a voice echoes, "Young lady." She silently guesses Sir Hayboat. The man asks in wonder, "Why are you here alone?" Realizing he is not Hayboat, she thinks, I cold-shouldered him yesterday, so what was I expecting? This person is the instructor of the knights, Sir Seer Pies. He extends his hand. "If you do not mind, please allow me to escort you to the door." According to her memory, he used to look much scruffier. Although he was an extreme supporter of Luona in the past, which she disliked, the Marchioness is arriving soon, so she decides to let it pass smoothly for now. She steps forward and rests her hand on his arm. "I leave it in your hands then, sir." As she walks, she whispers to herself, "Yes, everything must go smoothly." Outside in the grand manor hall, Luona speaks with a bright smile. "Good morning, Z." "Good morning to you as well, Luona. I have something to tell you. Can you meet me for a moment after lunch?" "Of course. This is your first time meeting her, right?" "Yes, perhaps." "That is why I truly look forward to it. I wonder what kind of person she is." She thinks silently. Can I refrain from blurting out an insult? As the carriage door opens, the lady's cane glows instantly. The light is as sharp as a knight's blade, so brilliant it causes goosebumps. A respectful voice sounds out, "Please enter, Marchioness Lavalier." "Welcome, Marchioness Lavalier." Head butler Alex and head maid Mage bow and say, "During your stay, we shall strive to serve you so you experience no inconvenience." She merely nods without responding. Z's mother also voices a greeting, but Marchioness Lavalier coldly brushes past her. Causing her to freeze, Count Bizabeau approaches and embraces her. "Welcome, sister. Did you encounter any discomfort during your journey?" "Not at all. Thank you for worrying about me." Luona curtsies politely. "Welcome, Lady Lavalier." The butler inwardly admires her. What a flawless curtsy, truly in line with young Lady Luona's grace. "Ah, is that you, my little sugar doll? It has been so long. How are you?" "Yes, I missed you so much." Her gaze shifts. "So you are Z." The head butler worries silently. After the chandelier incident, young Lady Z injured her ankle. The Marchioness is extremely strict regarding proper curtsies. Thus, if one cannot perform it flawlessly, it is better not to do it at all. At this moment, Z speaks gracefully. Z Bizabeau respectfully greets, "You, Lady Lavalier." With those words, she lifts her exquisitely beautiful, confident face. To everyone's astonishment, as if time stands still, all fall into a breathless silence. A moment later, Marchioness Lavalier remarks, "Quite sharp, aren't you?" Z beams a bright smile and replies, "You flatter me. Perhaps time resuming its flow is not merely my illusion." Marchioness Lavalier resembles a fierce beast, none other than an elegant leopard crouching in the grass, stalking its prey. That noble-blooded beast seems ravenous, scrutinizing which prey before her is the finest delicacy. By protocol, the Count, as head of the family, walks behind to guard the rear. Unmarried daughters quietly follow behind, while the mistress of the house walks beside the guest to guide them. Yet Marchioness Lavalier naturally dismisses her mother's guidance and strides ahead. Meanwhile, Luona seamlessly claims the spot by her side. Right from the start in front of the servants, she ignores mother's greeting. When superiors fail to recognize the mistress's authority, the servants naturally begin to slight Mother as well. She glances at her mother and asks softly, "Mother, do you remember our conversation from yesterday? If anything happens, just flee, so do not feel inferior." Her mother answers in a low voice, "Indeed, we must keep trying. Please tell me I am still doing well. You are always doing so well." A childhood memory flashes by. "Mother, where are you going?" "Chero, Mother must go to work. Play with Father at home, okay?" "It is so cold, can't Mother stay home with Chero?" Mother wants to buy Chero a beautiful pair of shoes, "So you can walk anywhere you wish." At this thought, Z resolves, as long as Mother remains here, I shall never run away. Afterward, they dine together. The meal with the Marchioness proceeds in an atmosphere so suffocatingly dull that even chatterbox Luona stays as quiet as a mouse. Servants tread lightly, without a sound as they serve the dishes. Only when dessert arrives does the atmosphere loosen slightly, yet Mother remains motionless, as if forgetting to breathe as the ordeal continues. Suddenly, Marchioness Lavalier speaks up. "I wish to know how well you understand the Salat Home Coastal Project, Z." The Count interjects, "Sister, business matters are still a bit too early for the young ones," but she cuts him off immediately. "This project forms the very foundation of the Count's family. How can they remain ignorant? Thus, I wish to hear your opinions." Luona turns to her. "Aunt, I have also been thinking about coastal development recently. May I share my thoughts?" "Luona, though I know you are knowledgeable, I am asking your elder sister first." "Wait for your turn," Luona replies. "Ah, yes, sister, go ahead." The Count thinks to himself, so that is it. Her attention shifts entirely from my wife to the child. Throughout the feast, his eyes remain fixed on Z. I must admit her table manners are commendable, easing my heart, who knew her ordeal would not stop there. However sharp one is with current affairs, business remains a daunting hurdle. Marchioness Lavalier prompts, "Now, Z, tell me what you know of the Salat Home Coastal Project." Z speaks, silencing everyone. "Have you ever descended into the depths of Tehom? Can you pull up Leviathan with a fishhook? On that day the Lord shall strike Leviathan with his strong, mighty sword, punishing that gliding serpent and slaying the monster hidden in the deep." Tehom signifies the abyss, symbolizing chaotic oceans. Leviathan is the monster of those waters. Rumors once spread that humans vanished without a trace in Tehom's chaotic seas, and people believed those tragedies were wrought by the sea beast. In truth, fierce waves, unpredictable currents, treacherous cliffs, and hidden reefs wrecked ships constantly. Furthermore, due to remote geography beyond the law's reach, crime ran rampant. Ultimately, humans simply attributed all these perils to a beast named Leviathan. She pauses briefly, blaming it entirely on social defense mechanisms still sounds slightly unconvincing. Yet delving deeper now resolves nothing. So she continues, "At that time the coast lay beyond central reach. It was the fastest gateway outward, but not yet ready for exploitation. Rather than dabbling recklessly, it was better to consolidate the borders first." Meanwhile, the far western seas fell too deep into ruin to recover alone. Yet the Baizabo clan did not view this as a realm abandoned to fear, but as a land worthy of restoration. We establish maritime routes governed by rules and seasons. Port calls and logistics are managed via contracts and clear records, defining roles for upper and lower ports. Security ties directly to economic benefits, and military garrisons are maintained permanently rather than temporarily. Even illegal routes are brought under management rather than left open, with the Baizabo clan single-mindedly bearing every burden and pioneering cost. They carved a path through the ocean and restored order to the land. The ripple effects spread throughout the empire, shifting perceptions of aristocratic duty. Normally, nobles never touch commerce, yet the adage noblesse oblige changed everything. From then on, other noble houses began engaging in business combined with charitable endeavors. She further explains that the imperial gift of the Lappy's greenhouse served as a clear endorsement of that vision. Receiving care and attention, the sea gradually reclaimed its true name. Salam means peace, while asterisk Tehom means depth, combining into asterisk Salat Home asterisk, a place upon which deep tranquility falls. Thus, the Salat Home Coastal Project is not merely an urban redevelopment plan, but an act of restoring a coast, once stolen by Leviathan, returning it as a land for mankind. Hearing this, the Count cannot hide his astonishment. Silence falls over the room. Her mother wonders internally, has Z not just finished her basic etiquette lessons? When on Earth did she learn all this? And why? Is the Marchioness silent at last? Marchioness Lavalier speaks up. Then what does realigning the maritime routes specifically imply they accomplished? Z looks at her, hesitating regarding that. She ponders, these are matters I studied repeatedly in my past life. How could I not know? She modestly replies, how embarrassing, but my studies have not reached that depth yet. She reflects further. If I analyze beyond this, she will suspect I am merely reciting a scripted line. Honestly, how could a country girl from the desert-adjacent South, who became a noble lady less than 2 weeks ago, know detailed business affairs of the far western frontier? Knowing specialized expertise would only arouse suspicion. Tell me what you know was an open-ended question from the start. Perhaps the Marchioness simply wishes to test my goodwill and desire to learn. Thus, the grace she showed in her curtsy was merely the result of desperate effort to avoid tarnishing the family's name. Now, presenting only knowledge accessible to her level satisfies Marchioness Lavalier much better. Suddenly, the Marchioness praises, truly worthy of instruction. Though you have only learned basic etiquette, such understanding is not something gained in a short time. Although your business knowledge falls far behind Luona's, your eagerness to learn and passion leave a deep impression. Whether intentional or not, your choice of words is commendable. That praise leaves Luona stunned. Her mother is also secretly astonished. For a stern person like the Marchioness to hold the child in such high regard, just keep maintaining this state and stand firm quietly. Z politely replies, thank you for your generous assessment, but what makes me happiest is that you look upon me with such favor. Why do you assume I will eventually favor you? She responds forthrightly, if one does not care for someone, how could they see only their virtues? Surely it is because you find me pleasing and endearing that you shower me with such praise. Those words startle both the Count and her mother. Luona is equally flabbergasted. The atmosphere thickens with tense silence. After a while, Marchioness Lavalier crosses her legs and asks, I view you in such a light. Her face darkens. Z refuses to back down, meeting her gaze steadfastly. After a long standoff, Marchioness Lavalier softly says, you truly have guts. Z chuckles softly. Thank you, Lady Lavalier. She closes her eyes, thinking. A small serpent slithers up the beast's leg, lifting its smooth head in feigned obedience. Deceived by its pitiful guise, the noble leopard lowers its guard, finding the creature's endearing act charming. Alas, that arrogant leopard will only regret it when the serpent it nurtures paralyses its limbs. In another scene, a pleading voice rings out, please, just spare my life, I beg you, Sir Mikar. He calmly replies, shall I just kill him? No, he is the one who tampered with the sensor. No matter how much he is tortured, we cannot extract any useful information. That leads to that side. This drug is truly strange. He screams in desperation, I really know nothing. They said it was a beneficial herb for the body, that I only needed to mix them together, so I took the money to do it. A single kick to his neck instantly ends his life. An act. A combination never before recorded, even in the history of herbalism. It turns out that when used together, it turns into deadly poison. Though it does not strike immediately, it slowly rots the bronchial tubes and brings symptoms of severe poisoning. If not for that expedition, I might be in the exact same plight as His Majesty by now. I thought he was ordinary, who knew he was secretly pulling off such bold schemes behind the scenes. Lock him up under a different charge and let us see how that side reacts. Do you still maintain your stance on that report? Yes. On the contrary, it feels as though everything once vague has finally found an answer. After all, she is my birth mother, so I thought she would not have the heart to refuse her son's earnest plea. But it seems my cold-hearted mother ultimately wishes to see blood spilled. The ring flashes. Mikar's gaze remains resolute. Hearing his name called, he turns to listen. The other person continues. Do not treat women so coldly. Even when we dance, Lord Mikar does not deign to spare us a single glance. Must we pick up swords for him to pay attention to us? The women in the imperial palace are making a fuss, saying they fear you. Mikar answers indifferently, there is no need for me to indulge in such pleasures. Honestly, I still prefer when you had long hair. Back then, whenever those young ladies begged, you would always indulge them at least once. Lord Mikar, I heard the alchemists say that eyes of the blood moon can speak with snakes. Is it not disrespectful to let such rumors spread? Let me cover this up for you. Lord Mikar, I love you, please. Do not choose that woman. Take my body and my heart. I dare not ask for love in return. Just look at me. Yet to cut off your entire hair down to your waist just for one girl, now you look as if you are keeping chaste. After all, when a woman jumps right before your eyes, how could anyone forget? Mikar lowers his voice and calls out, Ziadulu, what exactly are you trying to say? The other lowers his voice. All right, I merely dreamed. A dream that perhaps you can understand. A woman jumps from the balcony railing and you can guess the outcome. Her head shatters in death. Normally, women rarely die so gruesomely, yet I have never seen a look like hers before. It looks as though she wants to die instantly, yet at the same time struggles desperately to live. A gaze sharp and cold like a wild beast, yet far too innocent as she fails to hide the malice in her heart, so foolish yet so pitiable. I fear she might bite. Mikar turns and walks away. I am not so free as to listen to you talk about the girl in your dream. I am leaving. You truly are cold. Indeed, Ziadulu raises his eyes. He gazes at the empty balcony, praying in his heart. Why not? Come back to find me once more. I will yield to you this time. In another place, Marchioness Lavalier speaks sternly. Do not carelessly bare your teeth like that. She refers to every form of education as the process of taming a wild beast into a human. Hearing this, the surrounding crowd begins to whisper. They wonder just how terribly Z must have behaved for her to utter such harsh words. They busy themselves with speculation and weave all kinds of stories. Little do they know, the wild beast she refers to is not an allusion to my behavior. Unlike your mother, you are quite quick and clever. Not only do you possess patience far beyond your years, but you also shrewdly find ways to please me. Yet how am I to interpret the stubborn recklessness you just showed me? That remark is merely her way of naming her own clumsiness in failing to perfectly hide her feelings for me. Is there anyone more foolish in this world than one who lets emotion spill through their eyes? Therefore I must endure even more. Hiding the venom under the tip of my tongue is enough. Everything here needs to be disciplined. If you wish to become a young lady of a noble family, keep the following in mind. The Marchioness not only notices the weaknesses I deliberately reveal to give her a sense of achievement, but she is also sharp enough to point out flaws that even I have never noticed. When dealing with others, your face must be as gentle as a spring breeze, your gestures as elegant as a flower branch, and your words as sweet as honey. That almost obsessive criticism, upon careful thought, is also an opportunity. Although I previously memorized etiquette through experience, I have never truly reached the level she displays. Marchioness Lavalier continues her lesson. Reading requires not only fluency, but also knowing how to control speed and rhythm to sound completely natural. In truth, my pronunciation and tone are not inferior to Luona's. Yet perhaps due to the prejudice that a child raised in the slums must be lacking, she always sharply scolds my smallest mistakes. Marchioness Lavalier snaps. How many times must I say it? The breath must be drawn from the dantian. Do you intend to follow in your mother's footsteps, displaying that vulgar air the moment you open your mouth? Z bows her head in thought. Her harshness is so sharp it stirs deep resistance, testing the limits of my endurance time and again. Tracing her fingers along the book, she replies, I will do it again. Through this, I can gradually erase the image of the child I used to be. Many witches destroy themselves simply out of an obsession with correcting what has already happened. She should feel ashamed for once running barefoot in dirty back alleys. Yes, do not strain your vocal cords, merely close them lightly to maintain elasticity. In that state, expand the space in your throat upward so the sound becomes clearer. Status can be hidden with clothes, but pronunciation cannot be concealed. Before you open your mouth, maintain a dignified composure. Marchioness Lavalier is not a good teacher, but she is a grand educator. A moment later, come inside, and I will first teach you a lesson on proper decorum. Yes, Marchioness. Suddenly, a servant notices something and exclaims, Young lady's ankle, are you all right? Marchioness Lavalier raises her hand to signal wait, then steps over to Z. Let me see your ankle. Z gently bows in agreement. Yes. Seeing Z's ankle swollen and red, she frowns. A young lady must always keep a pristine appearance. How could you be so careless as to let yourself get hurt? Like this, Z states, it has been about 3 days now. I apologize for not informing you in advance, she inquires. How did you get injured? Surely you have heard about the chandelier incident. I was hurt saving her at that moment. You say you were hurt right then, so? You have been carrying an injury from the very start. She recalls her past conversation with the Count. Sister, thank you for agreeing to educate Ziyi. Yes, though she is still unrefined, she has potential. To improve, her curtsy alone leaves almost nothing to criticize. It seems that movement was practiced quite thoroughly. Haha, she has a knack for surprising adults time and again. On her very first day, she mentioned knowing how to read the imperial language during a meal. Her etiquette is even more natural than those who received formal instruction. I was worried she would differ from Luona, but that concern quickly proved unnecessary. On the way to afternoon tea, she quick-wittedly saved Luona. For that alone, I am indebted to her. Is it not too early to draw conclusions about someone's entire character from a single moment of quick wit? Coincidence can salvage a moment, but it cannot resolve all the consequences that follow. What impresses me even more is how Z handled it. Afterward, Z told the butler, "It is fine, I have only informed the butler." Is that all right? Since an honored guest is visiting soon, I do not wish to disturb too many people. The greenhouse incident was settled properly before word spread outside. She understands the significance of that place from the family's perspective. It is a garden that must not be destroyed, not merely hushing the noise, but knowing how not to leave any room for misinterpretation. Yes, what I mean to say is that Z will certainly not disappoint you. Remembering that conversation, she tilts her head and asks, "Why did you not tell me sooner?" I did not want you to worry after traveling such a long way to get here. Even if injured, you should have let me know. Thought it would heal quickly, I am sorry. Besides, is that not something worthy of recognition enough to be announced far and wide? Marchioness Lavalier has ruled high society as the queen of social circles for over a decade. Immersed too long in ostentatious desires messy as a mud mire, she now feels only fatigue and disgust. Z explains, part of the reason I do not wish to dwell on this is because of what the greenhouse represents to the outside world. As she speaks, she calculates inwardly that what the Marchioness cherishes most in the end are delicate threads of sincerity. Thus, even if her words sound clumsy and rough, what she can offer her are unpolished, earnest feelings. Z says with a gaze full of sincerity, "Frankly, as long as my younger sister is safe and sound, I am relieved. As for recognition or not, I have never given it a thought. No, that is not it. No matter what, I must be recognized. The Marchioness must know of this good deed." Previously, asterisk. Lord Haybot was praised as a benefactor of the Count's family because of this, so I too must reap some benefit. Young lady's ankle, are you all right? Therefore, I only need to choose the right moment for it to be discovered by chance. Marchioness Lavalier tisks and turns her head. You do not need to overdo that. Humble act, she bows and answers, "Yes, Marchioness." In her heart, she thinks very well with that tone it can be counted as a positive evaluation. After all, she is not the type to speak any friendlier than this. Z's eyes snap up when she hears her praise. You did well, her pupils dilate in sheer shock. What did she just praise me? Involuntarily, she remembers the harsh words she once heard. Expecting recognition with such meager effort? Arrogance must have its limits. With neither talent nor drive, you merely cling to your foolish pride. Your shortcomings are not something that can be fixed. You were flawed from birth. Z clenches her fists in pain. You did well is something that no matter how hard she tries, she will never. Here, it is not that I did well. It is simply that Luona remaining safe and sound is the best outcome, right? I took in your lowly life, so shouldn't you follow me unto death? How could a lowly person like me ever receive high praise from her? A scenario where Luona is not saved is strictly forbidden. The moment I see her, even at the cost of my own injuries, I must save Luona without letting her suffer a single scratch. Compared to that noble young lady, my life is worth nothing. Walking a short distance, the Marchioness pauses and casts a quick glance back at Z. Seeing her standing there silently, her lips part, and her feet move forward with quickened steps as she speaks. We will leave the etiquette lessons until after your ankle heals. Yes, I will. Ensure everything does not affect my studies. It is clearly impossible to hear, yet she hears the sound of a stopwatch stopping, in a room where people are chatting, so his morning prayer is just that. That guy only knows how to bury his head in weapons at the training ground, utterly dull. I bet he has never known the taste of a woman. Hey, while staying beside me, are you curious about that fellow? The girl snuggles against his shoulder coaxingly. Of course not. If you think that, I will be even more upset. Entranced, he lowers his voice. My apologies. She continues to seduce him. When will I have the chance to meet a wonderful knight of the Count's family like you again? I am curious about the special stories that only Sir Zilluo knows. I also wonder if the hero of the Empire has any dark secrets. Usually, it is the secrets held by good people that intrigue us most. Listening. To these soothing words, Zilluo confides, "Well, that is true. That kid himself is boring. But the truly interesting thing is his older brother, Hayboat. Regrettably, that guy cannot accomplish anything." Right at this moment, shouts echo from outside the door, "Hey, you crafty fox!" Zilluo winces, breaking into a cold sweat. "Huh, what?" The screaming outside continues to echo. "You dare use that lowly body to seduce my husband? Please calm down, Viscountess." Palin Long pulls away from Zilluo's shoulder, feigning regret. "My, right as our time is up. Is it over already? No, I went through so much trouble to get this appointment." Zilluo turns in confusion amidst the commotion. Outside, his wife's voice continues to press. "Drag her out here right now. What is taking so long? Hurry." And drag her out. With an alluring expression, Palin Long says, "I wish to see you more as well, but under these circumstances. See you soon." Later on. A young boy's cry echoes. "Out, rumors here. Get your rumors." Newspapers lie scattered across the ground and people discuss after reading. The next rumor sheet will probably cover today's story of a noble knight coming to drag someone away. Lately, stories about the Count's family are indeed the most interesting topic. Show me that. Is that old man going to read it too? No thanks, I have no interest in the affairs of noble folk. Just tell me. I hear news that I missed earlier. They say Marchioness Lavalier spends all day instructing that new young lady. What? That proud Marchioness herself. She likely wants to use the new young lady to restore the family honor tarnished by the new wife. After all, rumors once say that the new wife comes from a brothel. I hear a few opponents dig into that, claiming there are witnesses, but the matter quietly sinks away, most likely hushed with money. It sounds even more suspicious. Furthermore, at the new wife's suggestion, the inn where the Count's nights stay is also changed. Rumor has it the innkeeper is actually the new young lady's biological father, but they say she is quite pretty, probably taking after her mother. Still, the maids there say she looks as if she can swallow someone alive. Why are we standing here? Let us go have a drink and talk more. Coming along? I'm not going, I must head home. Oh, can you not take a day off? That tavern is cheaper if 3 people go. Is your wife still grieving? The old man stamps out the cigarette butt with his foot and walks away, uttering not another word. The other man watches him leave and says, "How heartless. How can anyone say that to parents who just lost their child in the war?" I lost my parents too, so I understand. The incident at Salat home happens quite a while ago, so I thought their grief fades a bit. My friend, the pain of losing a child is a wound that slashes at the heart with every breath taken. A short distance away, the old man carries his bag, walking somberly. Behind those heavy footsteps, another pair of feet quietly follows. When he arrives home, his wife greets him. "You are back. As for food, work is so scarce lately, we must make do with soup to scrape by. Oh, today I find a dead pheasant in the hedge. Last time it is a rabbit, what good luck. Perhaps a bird of prey chases it." Suddenly, she notices something. She looks down the street, but there is no single shadow. The old man asks, "What is wrong?" "Nothing. It just feels like behind you I just see the shadow of that again. Let us go inside." By a nearby wall, a young man lurks silently, then turns and leaves. Later, someone asks curiously, "Why are your boots always caked in mud every time you go on leave? Do you walk along mountain paths, Sir Hayboat?" Hayboat turns and replies, "What else can a knight like me do when going out? But other knights spend their leave chasing women. Rumor says there is a dancer named Palin or something in Perd who is currently very famous. They say she is extremely beautiful. Have you met her?" Hayboat replies indifferently, "I do not care," the young fellow says again. "Well, after all, our Count's house has young Lady Luona, the most beautiful woman in the Empire, so other women likely never catch your eye." Rastin changes the subject. "Pello, we are going to the training ground shortly. Go wipe your sword first." Pello continues, "I hear that during dinner this time, the new young lady makes young Lady Luona sad again. Have you heard about that, sir?" Hearing no reply from Hayboat, Pello only sees a dark shadow slowly looming over him, accompanied by a freezing tone. Pello looks up in terror. Rastin commands with a darkened face, "Copy it 100 times, recite it 100 times. Failure to obey results in disciplinary action." Immediately after, Pello tearfully obeys, reciting aloud, "Speak no injustice, nor let deceit pass. Your lips uphold righteousness and never abandon it. In doing so, your entire life bears no shame nor condemnation of guilt." The clashing of swords echoes along with idle chatter. I hear that this time the new young lady flatly rejects young Lady Luona when she wants to talk. In the prior scene, "Z, as I mentioned this morning, can I meet with you for a moment? I am sorry, I am preparing my lesson for Madam right now, so I cannot go." With you, I hear that after being rejected, young Lady Luona is utterly devastated. Her status rises thanks to her, so she ought to bow her head in gratitude. Jir says so too. Besides, rumors say early this morning she suddenly fires another servant. Those servants stay at this manor far longer than those women. Just a newcomer, yet she wants to manipulate the entire manor. Does she know no shame? Right then, Hayboat steps forward to remind them, "Maintain your respect for your master." The fellow replies, "I always respect my master. It is those lowly women who are disrupting our noble family. As a true knight of the Baizabo clan, do you not feel even a shred of anger?" Hayboat's voice rings out, making them freeze in their tracks. "I do, that is the knight's oath and morality." As he speaks, Hayboat draws his sword, terrifying the fellow. "Wait, is he trying to challenge me to a duel? Just over this, that quiet guy? How can anyone beat that monster with a sword? No, if it were a duel, he would throw down his glove. Could this be?" He recalls a situation from the past. "If that sword once saves the entire empire on the battlefield, I believe it can also protect my family. Any villain who dares point a sword at the family's honor, you may judge them with your own hands." Returning to the present, Hayboat's ice-cold voice echoes, "I can." "Consider that you draw your sword first." Trembling, the man drops his sword. This is bad. Why is he glaring with those eyes? Why can I not hold my sword? Panic strikes him as he realizes his blade is no longer in his hand. Hayboat steps closer and says, "Therefore, hold fast to justice and never let go." Finishing his words, he approaches Pello with praise. "Pello, today you sharpen a very keen blade." The guy stands there, red with fury, spewing bitter words as Hayboat walks away, feigning righteousness all by himself. "Whatever, let us go. What is the point of talking to someone who cannot get along with his comrades? What can one expect from someone like Hayboat? Even if all his comrades die, he will not shed a single tear." The scene shifts as a voice rings out, "Remember this well, down below lies the abyss." Though this is not an official debut ball, it is no different from an introduction to high society. I hear that at this exhibition, Marchioness Lavalier will personally introduce that monster. During a lesson, Marchioness Lavalier instructs Z. "In this era, women are not allowed to inherit titles." Section 3. Inheritance upon the extinction of the male line. Article 12. When a family has no lawful male heir, the daughter of that family is recognized as the official heir. Article 13. A female heir possesses the right to inherit lineage and property. Her husband receives the family title based on his wife's authority. Article 14. When a female heir marries under the guarantee of imperial law and the church, her husband officially exercises authority in her right. Article 15. The executor of a title by right of a female heir is responsible for managing the land, rights, and duties of that family while bearing the gravity of an imperial noble. Article 16. The husband of a female heir holds the title, honor, and name of the family, assuming all associated obligations. The world changes many times as you grow up. Therefore, you do not need to live merely as a beautiful blooming flower just because you are a woman. A flower must also endure harsh winds before it can spread its fragrance to every path. If women have the right to stand in judgment, they also have the right to understand and evaluate the operating principles of this world. Thus, you must learn how the world turns and the laws that govern it. Yes, madam, people often try to explain the world through ledgers and numbers, but what truly moves the chessboard is something that exists long before them, such as the reputation built by the person presenting the proposal. The redevelopment project of Charlotte Home works the same way. Originally, the ADN Trading Company, famous in port management, brings forth this plan. They possess abundant experience and prepare meticulously. Many noble houses also promise backing. A mere glance at the ledgers makes anyone nod in agreement. Yet regarding this matter, the present time is still not right to receive approval. Their business plan does not pass easily. Can you guess why? The Porters at the docks, those living off smuggling, and even those who turn a blind eye to everything. Because amid that chaos, a unique order still exists. Z thinks secretly she wants me to possess the sharp intellect of a noble, yet also wants me filled with flaws so she can mold me to her heart's content. Thinking this, she says, if we recklessly upend everything, might the outcome end up even worse than leaving it be? Correct, but you must look at the core structure of the problem. You overlook the elements of law and rights. Her thoughts continue, simply because she is enchanted by a twisted pleasure, molding an ordinary country girl into an elegant lady. Touching a seaport means overturning the entire existing tax system and privileges. Who will renegotiate tax contracts? Who will establish the new ship guiding order? Who will settle disputes over unloading rights? Not a single person is trustworthy enough to bear the troublesome conflicts once construction completes. That is precisely when the Baizibo clan steps in to decide. Yes, but not only the Baizibo clan, Baron Winterbond also helps. Tremendously. Winterbond, that is the family of the former Countess, mother of Luona, Winterbond. Once mediates between merchant groups disputing dock usage rights across various coastal regions and leads them to agreement. A dock is where ships anchor to unload cargo. That family is also famous for pursuing a deal to the very end once putting their name on it. Furthermore, the Baizibo clan already possesses experience severing logistics lines tied to smuggling and bandits, while retaining merchants to stabilize the tax system once more. Their business acumen goes without saying. Thus, when a name that commands such trust steps forward and stakes its own honor to guarantee the matter, people gradually cast aside hesitation. If it is that family, they will surely sweep clean every lingering consequence. So remember this well, Z. What people remember long after ledgers vanish is not the numbers written inside, but the name inscribed upon them and how that name is used. Therefore, you must also live worthy of the Baizibo name. This is a book I assemble on prominent societal figures along with their vital traits. In 2 days, I will discard it. Before then, memorize every piece of content inside. And learn to be grateful to the person who prepares all of this for you. Z raises her eyes, secretly evaluating. She truly loves claiming credit. From my past life, I know a little about high society, but because I am completely excluded from that world, there are many internal matters I do not know at all. Not just political connections, but also the personal tastes of each person, things extremely useful for winning their favor. On the page lies information about a woman. Information. Estelle Montarian, originating from the Montarian region, uses the Linteran language. Status. Eldest daughter of the prestigious Montarian noble family, current Duchess de Vinal. Marital background. The marriage between her and the de Vinal family is viewed as a political contract to tighten alliances between southern and central nobility. She plays a key role in soothing regional political conflicts. Children. Eldest daughter Irene de Vinal, leading candidate for crown princess. Personal preferences. Frequently wears wigs at banquets, favors rich, luxurious perfumes. Fashion style. Splendid, vibrant colors with intricate patterns. Cuisine. Loves creative dishes with bold flavors. Aesthetic mindset. Sharp, direct, and refined. Reading. Z reflects in thought. Honestly, this material is valuable enough to make her smugness entirely justified. In my past life, no such thing ever existed. Thinking this, she replies, yes, I will master it perfectly, worthy of the devotion placed in this book. Once my ankle recovers, my posture and carriage begin to undergo strict refinement. The origin of beauty lies in one's walk. Hands require the softness of silk trailing upon the ground, and each finger must be as delicate as though gently brushing against flower petals. I must walk thousands of times on a fragile iron bar like a tightrope artist. The back straight as a majestic pine, the body soft as a willow branch, steps flowing smoothly as if oil glides beneath the heels. A mere slip away from it, and I am scolded. Mercilessly, are you paying attention? Walk, stop dragging your feet. Remember well, right beneath your feet lies the abyss. Is this what it feels like to have someone's gaze strip you entirely bare? If you fail, do not blame others when they point and sneer in contempt. The fear and helplessness my mother once felt before that monster, I now understand completely. Yet perhaps even this pressure should be viewed as a necessary tension. At least, it helps me engrave deep into my mind who my opponent truly is. Endure suffering and taste failure, torn unceasingly between your mother's low status and the nobility borne by your lineage. A pawn. Shoes tight to the point of torture, or at times bleeding bare feet, the path narrows by the day, the air thinning with every height. Keep walking to the brink of madness, until overcoming everything feels like walking across the abyss itself. Only then can you proudly say you shed an old skin. Finally, the day of the exhibition I eagerly await draws near before my eyes. At the exhibition, quite a few new faces appear. Though this is not an official debut, to them it feels no different from stepping into high society for the first time. High society. Come to think of it, word has it that Marchioness Lavalier even brings that second child along to this exhibition. I only hope she does not tarnish the elegance of this place. But what choice does she have? The only way to prove she belongs to our world is through art. She must have begged to be allowed to come along. Two men converse with each other. Do you not find the colors of that artwork breathtaking, truly captivating, yet I see no depth worthy of note? Is depth really that important? Is not the essence of art to capture one's gaze from the very first moment, ordinary beauty and that which lingers in one's heart through its dignity? Are two entirely different things. Beauty itself is dignity. Take the Empire's #1 beauty, for instance. Just one look at the young lady of the Baizibo clan and you understand immediately. I do not think so. I appreciate the elegance forged through a life truly lived, rather than a kind of beauty that overwhelms one instantly. If you believe so strongly in your perspective, why not place a bet? Very well, the loser surrenders the item from the other day. Ah, it seems more guests arrive. Let us go. The grand doors swing open as Marchioness Lavalier and the young ladies of the Baizibo clan make their entrance. The first to appear is a figure revered as a noble among nobles, a lady among ladies. Greetings to Marchioness Lavalier. Whispers ripple through the crowd. In the art world, she has long held an illustrious reputation, especially known for her generous patronage of young talents. Her vast network of connections is beyond question. Though past her 40s, she still leads every trend with sharp instincts. Marchioness Lavalier is the very embodiment of the term perfect woman. So I wonder just how magnificent the beauty of the heir to her bloodline must be. The young gentleman must be waiting anxiously for Lady Luona's arrival. She is the ideal that every maiden admires and the person who leaves every man madly infatuated. Today, Lady Luona remains radiant as ever. Are not that golden hair and those azure eyes a beauty blessed by God himself? She resembles a work of art far more than a mortal refined through a lifetime. Do they truly say that? But how can anyone judge such things with the naked eye? Just looking at the young lady of the Baizibo clan makes one involuntarily believe that absolute beauty is the embodiment of virtue. This wager is my absolute win, even if he tries to deny it out of pride. The other man replies, "Fine, I lose." Naturally, upon looking at Lady Luona, just as he thinks this, his eyes widen. In shock, wait, where on earth is he looking? It is the person standing not far from Luona, his eyes daze as he utters. No, faced with Z's breathtaking beauty, he reluctantly accepts. It seems in the end I am the one who loses. They say the mother used her beauty to bewitch the count, while the daughter is at least worth a glance. At least she has been refined enough to receive marriage proposals. Surrounded by lavish jewels, appearing wealthy is only natural. But true noble grace shines through her posture and tone. Z steps forward and greets. "It is a pleasure to meet you all. I am Z, the eldest daughter of the Baizibo clan." Everyone freezes before Z's posture, so the rumors of a monster are merely exaggerations. Honestly, to achieve this level in just 1 month of training is quite astonishing. Perhaps the Marchioness prepared her sufficiently to blend into high society for a while. The Marchioness knows full well they monitor her every move. With Marchioness Lavalier as her tutor, it is only natural she should shine at least this much. Thus, the moment she crushes their arrogance must feel immensely satisfying. Ah yes, this place is an exhibition to showcase meticulously polished gems, while also serving as a harsh evaluation table to separate gold from trash. After observing for a moment, Marchioness Lavalier speaks up. "Z, in this exhibition, the painters' names are hidden. Who created which piece remains concealed, so viewers judge the art solely through their own eyes. You might think only works pursuing pure art are displayed here, but in truth, most paintings here are merely fakes designed to attract collectors. Z, can you discern what is real and what is fake in this place?" nearby. Welcome back, Duchess de Vinel. Yes, I hope everyone is having a pleasant time. Everyone bows in unison to Duchess de Vinel. Someone asks, by chance, did the young lady not accompany you to this exhibition? It would be such an honor for us to meet Lady Earring. But then again, someone destined to become the Empire's crown princess in the future must be tremendously busy. Duchess de Vinel gently reminds, that is not quite an appropriate term for my daughter just yet. However, the busier the times, the more women need to share their strength with one another. Don't you think so? Earring carefully prepares a falconry event for young ladies. If it is an event hosted by your daughter, the attendees must be meticulously screened. It would be an immense honor if my daughter's name were included on that guest list. We are still finalizing the list. I shall see if any spots remain. More importantly, have you viewed all the works? I finished viewing the wall paintings. Now only the dynamic installations remain. Marchioness Lavalier's exhibition appears to be proceeding smoothly. Z, what do you think of this painting? Z observes it and says, this painting does not fix its form. It deliberately presents a hazy landscape where emotion becomes a fleeting, lingering warmth impossible to grasp. As for lines, the boundaries between reality and illusion are separated exquisitely. The composition is not bound by dry, straight lines, but connects entirely through curves that guide the eye in constant sway like a pendulum swing. Instead of constricting edges, the artist lets them loosen and flow freely, retaining only what is truly essential. How clearly defined the borders between forms are. I feel as though the artist uses this to imply a playfulness, a relationship meant solely for enjoyment rather than longevity. Precisely. You know how to use technique to illuminate and empathize with the message that the artist conveys. Thank you, Lady Lavalier. Someone standing nearby offers a comment. Lady Z, it seems you are quite knowledgeable about painting. What do you think of that painting over there? Z glances over and remarks, I appreciate paintings with consistency and depth. However, I do not feel any genuine meaning or philosophy from the artist behind this piece. He sneers mockingly. Ah, so it turns out you do not truly understand abstract art. Abstract art is not something meant for us to feel, but to experience. You are approaching it entirely wrong, she flatly replies. If anything, sir, I believe you are approaching the concept of abstraction somewhat differently. Abstraction is not about erasing form, but re-establishing an entirely new structure in an abstract masterpiece. Decisive lines and conflicting colors create a unified rhythm. Yet look here. In this painting, light and shadow lack connection, colors remain mute without contrast, and brushstrokes drift aimlessly. Every element sits lost within the frame, with nothing supporting one another. He secretly despises her. How dare a lowly girl like her talk back to him? Is she implying he is foolish? Thinking this, he says, hearing you criticize this work so harshly, I take it you have no idea how famous the painter of this artwork is. Lady. I believe keeping artist identities anonymous at this exhibition serves a purpose. But if you ask whether I can distinguish an artist's style, my answer is yes. He laughs inwardly. Listening to her beat around the bush proves she knows nothing. She doesn't even know Simmel, the current rising star, yet dares to discuss art. He voices his thoughts. Is anonymity not also a cry for help, saying, please find me? So if you know who the painter is, wouldn't it be better to tell me the name, please? Forgive me, I do not recall the exact spelling of that person's name. See? She doesn't know who Simlac is, does she? This is precisely why those from low backgrounds quickly run out of knowledge. And depth, Z continues. However, I do recall a similar word. Simulacrum, simulacra. Those standing nearby freeze upon hearing her words. Simulacrum means a copy without an original, a substitute simulating the real and even replacing reality itself. Duchess de Vinel falls silent. There is no way that girl knows the truth, and is implying that Simlek is actually a satire about a fake painter. There is no way I do not know the name Simlac. Recalling an earlier incident, my lady, Simlac's painting has arrived. Do you wish to hang it immediately? I know full well what they are used for. Do not force me to feign praise, just log them as 3 pieces. And round the total value up to 4,000 for me. The artist used for money laundering at the time bore the name Simlac. He was once someone who specialized in altering ledgers for high nobility, until he went too far and the royal treasury conducted a raid that swept everything clean. In that chaos, Leona escaped my hands, so how could I forget his name? I do not care if those nobodies look down on me simply because I do not know who Simlak is. Right now he is still viewed merely as a novice painter, and those who know the whole truth are just an extremely small circle of nobles. Marchioness Lavalier provided no information about him, but since she detests lies, her rejection of him is only natural. As long as I act as though I casually deduced it while discussing art, that is enough. Marchioness Lavalier praises, "You possess a sharper eye than I imagined." Who dares mock a girl acknowledged by Marchioness Lavalier? Her approval grants Z status within the manor and respect in society as a reward. And at this exhibition, the person whose evaluation I truly need is. As she thinks this, she glances toward Duchess de Vinel. At this moment, the Duchess is also quietly pondering. On the way here, I heard a few ridiculous rumors. They claim that Monster is just as elegant as Lady Leona. But how laughable! No matter how much a duckling polishes its wings to imitate a swan, its true nature never changes. A falsely constructed persona can only shine for a brief moment. Once the roots are different, in the end, it remains nothing more than a meaningless imitation. I thought the fake was simply trying to copy the original, but what if the truth is? Duchess de Vinel asks the lady nearby, is she Lady Z of the Isabeau clan? Indeed, she merely excels at pretending to understand art, yet fails to recognize even the value of Simlak, clearly uneducated. Then I must send an invitation to Lady Z. Hearing this, the lady stiffens. Pardon, I care little for illusory, baseless things. Oh, do you dislike abstract art? May I ask if the falconry event still has room for one more guest? A short while later, phew, these people cling like leeches. All this madness happens to Z within a single hour. Everyone praises Z immensely. Lady Z, you truly possess a discerning eye and exquisite taste. Your voice sounds like birdsong. When do you plan to accept marriage proposals? Do you intend to attend the salon concerts? What about the garden party next week? Are you interested? Fine, I shall brave this shower of questions and attention. But her back feels burning hot, the reason being Marchioness Lavalier's sharp gaze fixed on her. Dozens of minutes pass. Z, you should step back to rest and freshen up a bit. Meaning, the entertainment is over, you may withdraw. And just like that, she departs, taking everyone with her, leaving me standing all alone. I want to go home. Perhaps I should kill time in the powder room since there is no one left to meet anyway. Suddenly someone calls out in greeting, "Long time no see, young lady." Z pauses secretly, guessing the identity behind this voice. Is this not young Master Biss? He speaks up, indeed. I hope you have been well. Did my greeting inadvertently interrupt lady's train of thought? A few memories surface. She thinks to herself, last time he acted childish beyond belief, yet this time he is surprisingly polite. Is it simply because he drank wine? His hot and cold attitude is rather amusing, but getting involved with him brings nothing good. We easily irritate each other. Thinking this, she replies, interrupted, not at all. I am merely on my way to the powder room, so could you perhaps step aside for a moment? Z curtsies. Well then, farewell, only to be interrupted by him. Then, if you do not mind, may I have the honor of escorting you, Lady Z? Z inwardly evaluates his gentlemanly demeanor as he extends a hand so gracefully, looking like a painted masterpiece. His deep voice soft and gentle as a lullaby, yet impeccably polite, especially his discreet gaze upon me. It feels so alluring that it makes my heart skips a beat. A few young ladies standing nearby admire him with whispers. Oh, to be escorted by such a breathtaking young master is truly a supreme honor. Which noble house does he belong to? With an aura like that, his fame should have spread far and wide long ago. His facial features are so exquisitely carved, as if sculpted by the hands of the gods themselves. Do they mean his flashy appearance? I admit he is exceptionally handsome, but unfortunately, that face is more than capable of driving anyone insane. Handsome men who are fully aware of their good looks are truly annoying. I know nothing about his background, his status, family, hometown, or even his age. Everything remains a mystery. Yet I know all too well that behind this sweet trap called destiny lie secrets so ugly they are unforgivable. Seeing her silent, he speaks up. If you still hesitate because of my rudeness that day, I can guarantee it will never happen again. It is not because of that, I am just utterly exhausted. I keep hesitating, unsure how to speak to you about this. Her thoughts continue. If I remain near him, my tone will undoubtedly grow harsher. Soon enough, I will be growling at him. Yet she speaks aloud that was not my intention to put you in an awkward position. Yes, I know you would never leave me feeling ashamed. That innocent, guiltless expression on his face makes him look just like a little puppy pleading for a touch. Or is it all just my own prejudice? With a deeply earnest expression, he says, "So won't you please take my hand?" "If you may," whispers ripple through the crowd once more. To keep a gentleman waiting so long is truly disrespectful. Is she really planning to leave in such an impolite manner? Under the guidance of the lady, I cannot believe she behaves so rudely and brazenly. Hearing this, she puts on a practiced, artificial smile and accepts. "Then I must trouble you to escort me there." In her heart, she wonders, what scheme are you plotting this time? Contrary to Ziadulu Baizabo's expectations that everything would be exhausting, that meeting makes her relax completely. From his subtle thoughtfulness under everyone's gaze to keeping up with her pace, down to their lively, delightful conversations, she turns to ask, "I cannot for the life of me guess your age. Why don't you try guessing?" Z secretly observes his skin. No matter how she looks at him, he cannot be younger than her age in her past life, so starting from 21. But that aura of experience makes her hesitate. 35, she asks tentatively. He replies, "Is that range not a bit too far off? Do you have a specific age in mind?" "Based on your past, I think you should be under 30. After all, a man past 30 acting intimate with a 17-year-old child is truly hard to accept. Honestly, when I first met you, young lady, I naturally assumed you were already an adult." "Did you think?" "That was obvious, the way you behave with such unwavering composure is so natural that it is hard to believe you are just a young girl. Truthfully, I secretly hoped you were closer to my age, but I never expected you to be only 17. Looking back now, I feel I was somewhat presumptuous. But then again, in a world where even my 16-year-old younger sibling receives marriage proposals every week, perhaps from this day forth, you will receive proposal letters daily as well. In any case, I just saw those young men swearing to come over to your side, and as a man myself, I completely understand how those young men feel, being so bewitched by a woman as beautiful as you." Hearing this, she thinks to herself, "I tell myself these are merely sweet words, yet they do not sound half bad." He is the kind of man who knows how to use his voice to weave a pleasing melody. He claims to be the second son of a noble family, spending most of his time studying abroad, occasionally returning for a few exhibitions, only to depart again soon. "In any case, before leaving, I desperately wish to see you at least once." He speaks those words with a nonchalant air, as if it were nothing special, but up until then everything is fine. All the way to the noble parlor, he behaves like a true gentleman. His tie is perfectly tied without a single flaw. Even the kiss he places on the back of my hand upon parting falls entirely within expected boundaries. Yes, everything is fine until that very moment. "Thank you for escorting me. I shall take my leave now." Ah, one more thing, the furniture by Benjamin Choi is indeed exquisite and beautiful. Yes, he is truly a master. Artisan, at this point she suddenly freezes. "Benjamin Choi?" A memory flashes. "Dear Lady Marian Chattoris, owner of the Rose Palace, I have never laid eyes on furniture so magnificent and unique until I beheld the works of master artisan Benjamin Choi. Thanks to the ingenious fusion with mysterious Eastern culture, they possess a beauty both lavish and ethereal. I guarantee on my honor that his craftsmanship will surely conquer your ladyship's discerning taste. An unknown nobody until meeting Chattoris. Send it to the Rose Palace immediately. Benjamin Choi?" While Z remains stunned, he turns to leave. "In that case, I shall take my leave first." She hurriedly calls out, "Wait, young master, I demand an explanation. Did he intercept the letter meant for the palace? How on earth?" "Wait, young master by Zabo. And why did he reveal that to me? Answer me, how do you know about that? Damn it, this dress is so cumbersome, I cannot catch up to him. I cannot let him slip away so easily." Calm down, what does he ultimately want? Think, a few images appear in her mind. That guy will undoubtedly go around boasting that his clients are high-ranking nobles, even royalty. Thanks to that, he will legitimately compete for the title of the empire's #1 shop. Are you truly going to sit back and watch your honor being trampled like this? The honor of a noble, at least. Commoners steal for a morsel of food to survive. But what about you? Aside from a despicable nature accustomed to thievery, is there any other reason for your behavior? From the very beginning, you secretly skulked around eavesdropping on others. Unable to restrain that wretched habit of stealing, you brazenly put on gloves and feign elegance while those very hands are rummaging through someone's private letters. Suddenly, someone presses close to her. His hand gently strokes Z's lips. Her pupils follow the long trail of his finger. A sharp cracking sound echoes immediately after. The video pauses here. While waiting for the new part, please check out other stories on the channel to pass the time. Wishing you all happiness and full of energy. Farewell and see you soon.